Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Luca-Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcast, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and the United States FM network. I tell you, this shows that they're getting more and more into topics that there is always something to learn. That's one of the reasons why I really want to stay on the air. I don't care if it's on KTOX or any other station or even just on the internet. The fact that I'm having guests the last 2 years, since I started to be on the air by accident, I never really wanted to, I had the opportunity to learn so much. Sometimes things that probably you don't want to know about it, but I think it's better to know, because this is like a train. This train is coming fast, loaded, towards you. You can still put your head in the sand, that's fine, but the train is still going to hit you. So I rather to know what's going on, at least I have a chance to move myself from the train, or maybe to stop the train before it arrives to us. And that's why this is the purpose of the show. Try to learn and try to share. And I tell you, there are some things that I'm learning right now that I wished really they weren't true. I hope to be wrong. I pray people can prove me wrong. And, you know, on this show, I have 3-hour show. It's a weekly show. So I don't have a daily show. I do other things for life, okay? Barely I can put up with 3 hours a week. But I love to do the best when I come here, the 3 hours. I want to give you facts, news that normally you would not even have a chance to think. Forget about listening on other stations. One thing that really shocked and scared the hell out of me, something that I learned about almost 2 years ago, to a friend. His name is Ken, from Michigan, about these targeted individuals. At the beginning I said, what is that? And I'm not trying to put things down, because, you know, I'm the one that after I learned about 9/11, there was a fraud, because all you have to do is use your brain. And I don't want to waste time over that now. That's the bottom line. But the point is, after you've been lied so many times, and you know that we have documents and proofs that the United States government, or at least part of it, like many other governments around the world, they've been testing on civilians without their consent and will, different things, from chemical, biological, nuclear, any type of things that people should go to jail to test this type of things on you. And it's been proven, declassified. So my mind is open. I don't put anybody down. But see, of course, I want proofs. Of course, I do my researches. So anyway, 2 years ago, Ken from Michigan, Ken Rhoades, started to talk to me about these targeted individuals. And I say, what? And then he started to realize that this is real. And then when you start to find the patents, when you start to find the declassified documents, and then when you start to find people that have a lot of credibility. I mean, I had on my show couple months ago, almost, this former NSA whistleblower, Karen Stewart, talking about targeted individuals. And how there is technology out there that can influence your mind, your thought, and also torture you physically and mentally. Pretty hard to believe, right? Guess what? Let me tell you a little bit. Today I have another guest, and I will be talking about this. And I wish I could talk more. But the problem is, you know, I have 3-hour show every week, and I need to try to touch different topics, so I cannot just focus on one thing only. But I tell you, this is so important. I tell you why. This show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. If they can control our will, we have no more freedom. We will not have any more love. And for sure, we won't have any guns. That's the bottom line. And there is this technology right now that can influence your thoughts. That's a fact. They probably maybe now using it on small scale. We don't know for sure. But they're using it. And what really I believe that they're going to try to do, and right now you can already see what's happening with these masses of idiots out there. They cannot even tie their shoes, but they go to vote. It is not just the secret weapon from the government. I mean, the education system is a weapon of mass control. The television box is a weapon of mass control. The garbage that you eat, GMO food and fluoride in the water, is a weapon of mass control. That's the point. But this is just the first layer. Then there is the heavy-duty, hardcore technology that is already there. And that's what I want to talk today. And I have a guest. According to her story, she's going through hell. Her name is Patty. And I'm going to be sure that I say the last name. She's going to say the last name because I don't want to start to mistaken. Patty, are you there?
Yes.
What is your last name, Patty? Because my brain is so fuming right now.
Just call me Patty Lee.
Patty Lee, perfect. You know, Patty, I'm going to give you the microphone. I'll shut up for a moment. Hard to do it, but I'll do it. And I'll let you talk. I want you to introduce yourself, who you are, before even we go into the topics that we are talking now. And then, of course, I'm going to ask you questions. And my only goal here, it is not to impress anybody or to create any type of things like, oh, my God, we have a controversial show. No, my goal is to educate people about facts, that we are all under danger. And there's a reality out there, that there is a secret part, or at least a part of the government, who has technology that is using it against our own citizens and also against people around the world, that you cannot really see it, but you can feel it, and they can control your mind, and they can also torture you from distance. That's a fact, and I want your help to bring facts and evidence about that. Go ahead, please. I give you the floor. Who are you?
Now, I'm basically, I'm not a whistleblower. A lot of the targeted individuals are people who had spoke out about some injustice or shined a light on something that happened, but not all. And, you know, when Dr. John Hall, who is also exposing this crime, has been gathering statistics, 70% of the people that are targeted for this testing are single women.
Wow.
So, yes. And some people say it's a little lower, 60 to 70, but he says 70% because a lot of people have written to him and talked to him, and there seems to be a pattern that a lot are single women. And they're also bright and educated women. I mean, it's not, you know, so it's not like it's kind of a surprise who they pick, but I guess not really because, you know, they're looking for people that they can attack and not have retaliation, if you know where I'm going with that.
I understand. Let me tell you something. You're right. There is a pattern, and I start to realize too, because I start to meet people. Single woman is the one that normally has no back family to back her up also, and of course no other man. So they want to isolate it, and you really don't know where to go. That's the point. Go ahead, please. You're right.
So, but basically, I entered this. I'm going to call it a program because once you are put on this list, you are human trafficked through a variety of experiments. Some people that are targeted have been put in over the last 4 or 5 years. I was put in much earlier. I know I have been in it for sure, according to my documents and my investigation, for 20 years. However, when I was a young teen, my parents died. And in my late teens, I had some bizarre things happening to me that were just scary events. But I was bright, and I went out and made something of myself. I wrote TV and radio commercials for a living. I was an account executive. I kind of wrote it off as bad luck. You know, back then, I don't know if you remember, we all had the goal-setting books, and I'm 57 now, so this is a long time ago.
Wow.
And, you know, you're going to be successful, and you got to be positive, and I just kind of made things happen in spite of all the bizarre things that were happening to me. But so I have no criminal background. never hurt anyone, did anything unusual. I haven't, exposed a crime or, basically just someone who is just living their life or trying to anyway. And about 20 years ago, I started having bizarre events happen to me that were affecting my health dramatically. Now, I want to tell you, I'm a big believer in natural foods.
Mm-hmm.
I've been studying it since I was 17 years old.
Okay.
I did all the nutritional. I rollerblade like 5 miles a day. I was a runner, a swimmer. So I was in relatively good health, and I suddenly started taking, a decline, and it was a bizarre decline. And, and I knew something was wrong, but I had no idea what it was.
Can I ask you something? When did you start to really realize that something was wrong with you? How long ago?
That was the gang stalking. And that was about, let's see, I was 49 and I'm 57. It was about 40, when I was about 49, I started realizing that I had gang stalkers. And, and the word that most people call it or prefer to use is organized gang stalking. And the reason it's called organized gang stalking is because there's a very large group of people that have your name in their phones. Okay, now this technology, wasn't possible, or maybe if it wasn't as readily accessible when I first became, in this program or whatever whatever for lack of better words. So basically, all these people know that you're in this, and I actually got a close-up look of a stalker's cell phone, and they have little mini profiles that they go down. So whenever you're in the area, they get a notification.
Now, let me stop you 1 second, because, I try always to put myself on the other side. That means the person that out of the blue is tuning in and say, what are you talking about? Are you crazy, both of you? Especially the guy with the accent must be really crazy to even bringing it up. Let me tell you something, guys, because before we go ahead, everything we're talking here, there is more than just you talking. We have documents and facts, and there are things that we can prove. And this is the point. They are declassified documents. They've been experimenting on us on different levels. And then also people may say, why are they doing this? Why now? Whoever is behind in this point, of course, there is some sort of a part of the government or even a shadow government doing that. Why they're doing this? And now we'll go there too. So I say, please, guys, have an open mind. Because this is serious stuff. This is not hocus pocus. Please, have an open mind, listen, and do your researches. Continue, please. I want just to be sure people know we are not playing around here.
Okay. Now, when we go back to, I think that the gang stalking was what made me aware, because what the organized gang stalking does is it doesn't look like anything to anyone else. Okay, now I live in a very quiet, or was a quiet neighborhood where there wasn't a lot of cars that came at once. A good example is I visited a friend out on a farm. It's like almost in the middle of nowhere. And he suddenly had main traffic going up and down. And he jumped on his four-wheeler, and he said, oh, that is not normal. He said, I've lived here for 10 years. I said to him, Joe, that's what happens wherever I go. And it was like a major road, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. So basically it's abnormal amounts of people in a very small space. And if you do any studies on types of torture, of course, we all have what's called personal space. And, to have somebody very close to you and following you and watching you every second is basically what their job is to do. And whether you're up to we're talking about, you're just like today I went to the post office and I had a lady that kept trying to see what I was sending in the mail.
But listen, Patty, I want to say something, though. There is always some idiots out there that doesn't mind the business, okay? I mean, the point is, I'm sure there is, of course, different cases, but also in our life, I want to be sure, and people understand, there is also situation, there could be also, let's say, coincidences. But after the third, fourth time, the coincidence become a statistic. That's a fact. So once in a while, yeah, you may have also a real idiot out there that was trying to get too close to you, try to maybe follow you just because, I don't know. But the point is, after the third, fourth times, there is no more coincidence. So I'm open here, guys. I'm not saying everybody, just because you have the sensation somebody's following you, means that you're targeted. That's not the case. There are cases and cases, okay? Be sure, be clear. Go ahead.
Well, basically, it's the pattern of it. Mm-hmm. Now, this might help a little bit better. When the gang stalking started, at first it was very young guys, and I was on the internet. So my older son said, Mom, get off the internet. Whatever sites you're on, you're drawing a bunch of, perverts. And I said, no, these are young, good-looking guys, and they're just trailing around everywhere. And he said, Mom, are you sure? I said, no, I'm telling you. And they would look at me to let me know that they were looking at me. See, part of it is not just like people driving by. They do things to make sure you recognize them. And they'll do the same thing so that you know something's going on. You don't know what's going on at first, but you know something's going on. Well, at that point, I was kind of amused by it because when you're older, there's, it was like, oh, there's all kind of young guys, waving at me, looking at me. And I tried to tell my friends, and they said, nah. And we went out one night, and they were like lined up. I said, what's going on? So anyway, then next time when there was hooded young girls, they had hoods on. Mm-hmm. That went on for about a month. Every time someone went by, and you could tell it was a young girl, they had a hood on, a hoodie. And you couldn't see their faces real well, but when you got up close, you knew it was a girl. I thought, no, why? Then it was older people. I mean, we're talking very senior, and they all had angry looks on their faces. So it went through patterns where they were doing this different stuff to let me know that they were always around.
This is the psychological part, because we're talking about two different aspects, the physical pain and also a psychological, let's say, sense of harassment, that I don't know exactly what is their final goal, maybe to study how do you react or behave, or if you lose your mind. Well, I don't know. Why you think they're doing this? What is their goal? To have all these resources to make you look like you're stalked?
Well, let me tell you, when you're in these experiments, isolation is extremely important. Think of a lab rat, Everybody uses the word lab rat, but we really don't tear it down in our mind.
Yeah.
They have made this remote experimentation, or what the CIA and those guys called field work, whenever they closed the shop so that people couldn't. They went to the field work. And basically what's happening is they are trying to discredit you. One of the first things they do is isolate and discredit, and also they make you poor. And how can they conduct experiments if people are watching and seeing all the oddball things that are going on that are not normal? How can, when it first started out, I was successful, relatively successful. I wasn't real wealthy, but I just went out and got all kind of cameras. And just to kind of give you a little background, one of the first things that happened to me was the break-ins. And all targeted individuals, even though we never met each other, all have similar similar situations. I mean, they're almost identical, but we don't even know each other. And they're breaking in, vandalism, bizarre vandalism. I would come home, and keep in mind I'm a professional. My kids are with babysitting, and I pick them up, come home, and all my downspouts are down. All of them. Not one. It wasn't raining. It wasn't windy. And I had just been outside. So, I mean, you call the police, you say, and they say, who would come out and tear your downspouts down? I said, I don't know.
Let me sum it up 1 second what's going on here, because I try always to get all this in a simple way to people we can understand, because I'm trying to understand too. The idea is there is a part of the population, at least a select group of people, that maybe we don't know exactly why yet. Maybe you can give us more details why. But they anyway represent some sort of a profile. So far, normally we know that there are people that they are kind of single, could be women, of course, they're also men. But the typical target could be, let's say, a person who has not much opportunity to defend himself or herself. Normally, a single woman is a good target. That's the idea. And there are some experimentations. And people may laugh at me, that's fine. But when you start to look, for example, how the U.S. government has been experimenting on civilians, especially with the mind control, MK Ultra, this is just in the 70s, 60s, and they are declassified documents, and Senate a congressional investigation, and they were told to shut it down. That's not a conspiracy, guys. So before you start to laugh, let's start to look at the past and the records, what's going on and what's been going on before. So right now, we're talking with Patty, that she's a targeted individual, and the point is, what happens in your life, like you said, like a lab rat? They start to harass you, gang stalking you, and you go into this sort of almost going crazy because pretty much you start to see things that you don't want to believe at the beginning. Everybody's looking at me, everybody's following me, and then you realize that they have a plan and they're coordinated by other people. And the reason why we think, because maybe they want to study how you react to such behavior, to such, let's say, type of aggression, because indirectly it's an aggression too. Then, as you said, they start to violate your space. It means people start to breaking in their homes. Am I right so far in the summarization of this story so far? I want to just be sure I got it down right.
If I can just give you a quick preview, when they break in,
yes,
they are. We thought, most of us thought we were being poisoned, but they were actually putting this nano and various technologies in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, while we're going through this, they have sensors. They're reading our emotions. They're reading our reactions.
Mm-hmm.
This is a test. This is an experiment. And it's all done remotely. So whenever I was getting sick, I went to the doctor, did all the tests, and it wasn't any common poisons. But when these are heavy metals, they're encased in plastics. It's not healthy stuff to ingest, and they're very, very tiny. So people say, well, how could this happen? Well, all you have to do is look up smart dust or nanotechnology. I mean, they've been studying this. When you're in a test subject, you're getting the stuff way before it's publicized. Way before. Why? They don't have anything to say. They don't know anything. They do these preliminaries. Then they start writing their journals. Then they have a little educated opinion. And then they further the studies. And so basically, we all had the same thing. Well, when they do the discrediting and they tear down your life, you know something's happening and you think it's some kind of hate crime. So the first thing you do is start thinking about who did what guy did you date that's crazy, or who's doing this. But the funny thing about it is that the police do not respond at all. They will not take reports in most cases. They usually joke it off. Well, I'm sorry, but somebody breaking and entering into my home is not funny. And secondly, if you have no background in mental illness and there's nothing you've ever done, why would they be amused or not take you seriously? Well, there's a reason why. Because somehow this list, like we're talking about, that which is circulated, they know who's in this. And I don't know how much information they're given. I don't know if they're just told, hey, this is classified, or stay out of this, or she's under investigation, or this is national security. Some way we are made taboo during this time so that people do not help us.
Yes.
We don't. Yeah.
And, this is the point now where we are, because I see that from this sort of psychological experimentation, I don't know how you're going to lose it, I guess, how much the human mind can stay sane, why they see what type of buttons they can push. I see also there is another aspect, is a physical aspect, because I see, I'll give you an example. I I know that there is a technology. This is a fact. I did my researches, and I invite everybody else out there, that they can start to put in your brain sounds or voices. So much that this technology is also available for civilians, of course, in a small scale, lower budget. With $3,000-$4,000, you can buy a machine that I can put a sound in your mind being 50, 60, 100 years away. And nobody else can hear anything but you. Think about that technology probably with a few $1 million more. They can put maybe that signal from a satellite, and they can make you hear voices, or they can start to make you have visions, or make you have bad thoughts. What type of power they can have? They can pretty much play with us like, where they were playing with the Indians when they were showing mirrors or other things. They thought it was like some sort of a magic. So this is a fact. This technology exists. Now, how can we prove that it's being used against civilians and without permits? That's very not difficult. All you got to do, all the many declassified documents, look just at the sky, what they're doing to us without our permission, what type of garbage we are breathing every day, how many times that plane is going to crisscross over your home, and you're breathing the garbage, called weather modification and much more. So that's another story. But my point is, now it becomes something that also is the next level. It can be physical, and it's not just more about trying to control your behavior with other people around, but also with technology. I see that you have photos on your Facebook page with the part of your body with some sort of strange, let's say, red, almost burning. I don't know exactly what it is. Let me ask you, what do you have on your body? What's going on?
Those are laser burns. I actually, and just so everyone knows, I had paid a great deal of money to have this investigated, and this crime has been proven. Had I had this investigated 15 years ago, the technology would not have been in the hands of the people to do it. But like you said, the technology is out there, and good people are now investigating this. And I paid professionals, an investigator and toxologist and doctors and the whole slew of people to find out what was happening. And those are, I was told those are laser burns. And they burn me very often. There's a variety of weapons that are used on me. After I ingested these nanotechnologies and sensors, which we actually got some sensors out of my body, and they're in my evidence.
Do you have evidence of that? Do you have evidence of this technology that has been extracted from your body?
Yes. Yes.
How can we see that? How can we see that?
Huh?
How can we see that? You have photos or things that we can put online?
Well, it's in my case right now. I'm not really allowed to do that yet. But no, but it is there.
You say case means you have in a lawsuit? I mean, you sue?
I have a case. Yes, and I have a lawyer.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's good. Because at least hopefully one day we can see that in the court of law with evidence, and you can call, and subpoena people and put them in some sort of a deposition. That would be great. I'm excited to hear that.
So basically, once this technology was in me, the reason they hit you with the weapons is when they hit you with the weapons, it puts the sensors in a place of whatever experiment they're trying to do. So then once those sensors or the nano is positioned within your body, they can hit you from the air by drone or satellite.
Yes.
The stalkers, when they go by, they have handheld weapons. I'm going to give you little tidbits of things that was proven, but Raytheon has a device that is a handheld microwave that you can purchase for about $1,000. And I had a group of women that were coming really quickly and close to me, stalkers, and they were like almost as quick down when I'm on the road, as close as they could get, or when I was going into the house. And they were aiming at my face, and in my photographs, you might have seen some of them on Facebook, there's light. All you could see is radiation, just radiation light around me. And basically, that is a weapon that takes moisture and oil out of your skin and your nutrients. And I started aging rapidly, so I notified the people who were investigating and said they're using a different weapon on me. And that's what we came up with. So this is a handheld microwave being shot at my face as part of this testing. The conclusion of my investigation was that I'm weapon testing, which is just horrifying. I mean, just horrifying.
Now, you found a lawyer that took this case. Because it's pretty hard to find. That's pretty amazing. I mean, even just to get the credibility, because it's not even just about the money. This is about a lawyer that is going to also face, technically, I mean, it's a dangerous game. Okay? And
well, we haven't even been able to get the ACLU to help us. And this would be the kind of case that they should be, spearheading. They should be the ones moving this forward because they deal with this kind of stuff, things that little lawyers won't handle or other lawyers won't handle. But they will not. They even had a recording at one point on the ACLU saying, if you are a gang stalking victim, we cannot help you. They actually had that recording. I was so mad.
Wow. Now, this is
and
so serious.
Thousands of people are calling them, and they're saying, we can't help you.
The sad thing is that for the people that they don't have any type of idea what's going on, they've never been touched, this is like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me, right? And they're laughing at you. And that's exactly why this evil is flourishing, because good people, they're not even willing to listen. That's the point. And I'm telling you, I know that it's a tough topic. I know that many radio stations don't even want to talk about it because they don't want to even be able to think that they want to start to call you names and make fun of you. I don't care. This is probably one of the most important things. If we can prove, and we will prove, and we already have proofs, by the way, on many issues, that we've been experimented on many levels. And it's not just the mind, but it's, of course, we're talking about our bodies and how they can control our health, our aging system. You're talking about nanotechnology. This is not just some sci-fi movie. It's out there. It's real science with the patents. And they can do everything they want with nanotechnology. It means they really know that we know that their goal is to, let's say, depopulate the planet by 90%. And people may say, are you kidding me? Guess what? Go to see who is sitting right now as a czar of science in the White House. J.P. Holdren. Read that book, Eco-Science. And I'm not going to say more. It's there. It's paid by our tax dollar, that person. At least used to. I think he's still there. And this is just the last part. I mean, this is not just under Obama. It happened way before, beyond party lines. So anyway, now, question is, how can we, first of all, protect ourselves? Because I tell you something after that happened to me after I had on my show, what I'm talking about, our Christian, this is another thing strange that's happening to me lately. I know I may be tired sometimes, but I'm having, since the interview that I had with a former NSA whistleblower, that according to her facts and records, she's being targeted, a week later, I started to have interesting things happening to me. And I want your opinion, because maybe I'm just, I get suggested, and maybe I just ease my mind, okay? So I want to ask you things, because you have more experience. Maybe you say, look, what you're having, you just need a vacation. And I accept that. I'm not even saying. But after I did this interview a couple of months ago, I started, first of all, to have almost sometimes, many times during the day, when I was thinking about important things, like almost blackouts, like things that I forget 5 seconds, what happened to me? I have no idea. I thought maybe, I need a vacation, or maybe I'm working too hard. That's okay. Then I started to hear in strange parts of town, normally when I'm closer to towers, normally when I'm closer to grids. I don't have, for example, a smart meter at my place, okay? And normally I go around part of Arizona, pretty rural, and I like it there, off the grid completely. And I'm fine there when I'm there. But when I am in some part of town that there is some sort of a grid, especially the smart meters, I start to hear voices. I thought, okay, this is just me thinking too much. Then I start to hear like almost a voice that talks to you. And I said, what the heck? I never had that before. I don't take any drugs. I am a law-abiding person. I have never had any, I don't have any violent thought. I'm a very mild, calm person. Of course, I'm a human being. But the point is, I have some moment out of the blue, I feel like I'm really stressed out. And more important, I feel like I am almost irritated. I need to leave that place. Seriously. So I don't know, and this is happening now less, but there's been a specific time after I did that show, talking specifically about target individuals, for after a week after, it started out of the blue to happen for almost a month. And I tell you, I felt like, wow, this is very weird. This is very weird. So what do you think? Am I just maybe a little suggested because, I've been talking about these things, maybe just in my mind, or maybe I'm to something?
Well, I want to say that usually if you have doubts about what's happening and it doesn't seem normal, you're right on with that, because, nothing about this, it always feels foreign to your body when you're being hit by weapons. It's not something that just happens. I mean, you really think like, oh, that's weird. Now, as far as frequencies go, there's actually a little chart. I can forward it to you later that shows different frequencies that they can beam to you. When I say beam, it sounds, but it's actually sent to you a frequency in the form of a laser beam from either satellite or it even can be from a neighbor. It could be someone close by in a car that has the handheld weapon. They can create different emotions. For example, anger, or a lot of people feel a lot of these shootings are experiments gone bad, where people get real angry, and some of them will even say, well, they just say, well, they say things that, it suggests that people were following them or what have you, and it's always written off as schizophrenia. But basically, they can manipulate your emotions and your health and your heart health, because as they put the pressure on certain areas of the brain, it does affect the body.
Yeah.
Now, there's the sonic data weapon. Okay, and I'm going to just give a quick example. Like, okay, you have a dog whistle. The dog hears it,
Yes.
Nobody else does. Okay, you have the pest controls. So you plug them in and the pests go nuts and take off.
Yes.
The mouses or what. Okay, this is the same kind of weapon that they have. The Navy has it on a more sophisticated level, but basically, it's one of the things they used on myself and my boys. I actually caught it you can catch this weapon on an AM radio. Mm-hmm. I actually had that checked out with an engineer. But you could catch it you put it on the AM radio, and you put it on no station, and because it's a sound wave, it'll show up. And I had bizarre sounds coming into the home, which I couldn't hear with the ears, but showed up in the audio. And it goes straight to the nervous system. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. And you can't sleep. You're restless. It makes you angry. The microwave, what it is you imagine inflammation of the brain. And I was actually in the hospital several times with severe headaches that they had to treat with an anti-inflammatory, and because they were hitting me in a particular part of the brain. So all of this is possible remotely with frequencies, with sound beams, and as far as the voices go, I gave you an example. The Smithsonian in its institute even has a video where they were in a library, and they brought this little black box thing in, and they were talking to kids in the library, and they were looking around because they could hear the voice that was put right in their mind.
Wow.
So this stuff is it's not only capable, but even people that are just bad people that have the money can get their hands on this stuff too.
Yes. Let me stop 1 second on something, because this is really, you're convalidating many things I've been thinking the last couple of months. And the name, of course, I know her pretty well. Karen Stewart, former NSA whistleblower. I've been talking to her also via email a lot lately, at least enough. double-checking some of the things. I want to say something to the people that are listening this show, especially for people that maybe they are listening and I believe they are the people responsible for this behind. I really think that more I learn about this, and more I want to talk about this. And I'll tell you why. At the end of the day, I couldn't care less what happened to me. I'm going to be gone anyway one day. We're all going to die. That's a fact. The moment that we're afraid of death, we're going to be slaves. And I'm not going to go down like that. I'm going to go all the way I can. I have just a humble 3 hours weekly show. Of course, I don't want to get every week on this, but I'm going to be sure that I'll keep talking about this and documenting and sharing this information, because it's probably one of the most important things right now. You know, we have a lot of problems, don't get me wrong. People think, oh my gosh, we got to worry about the national debt. I agree. But guess what? You're going to be dead anyway before, or you're going to be so stupid and dumbed down and enslaved that don't even know how many trillions are in the number, or how many zero you have in the trillions. You're going to be completely stupid. Control. Your brain is going to be like a zombie. And I believe that's what's coming down. And I tell you, I read statistics lately. There is a surge of people committing suicide, killing themselves. I know the economy stuff. I know a lot of things they're not exactly doing great. But there is something weird. Things didn't happen like that even in the worst time before. I don't know, maybe a coincidence. I don't know the whole story, but there is for sure a surge, and there are times during the year, and there are also locations. All I can say, if you want to start to clean up the way they think about us, we are just, cuddles, and start to remove some of us. There are many ways to skin an animal, to kill us. And one way, of course, is to drive you crazy and you kill yourself. That's the bottom line. That's what I want to go to. Don't you think that could be also one of the reasons they want to try to test you, how much a human being can be, let's say, bear all this pain and all this psychological harassment till finally you say, I can't do this anymore? Don't you think this is one of the reasons, maybe?
Well, in the particular test I'm in, we're talking billions of dollars and hundreds of people involved, investors, universities. This is just some of the people that, and of course we know the police have to know about it because, and the gang stalkers, one of their jobs is they're keeping an eye on you because of the fact that these people are messing with your brain. They're messing with your body.
Yeah.
Gang stalking is a deception. It makes it look like they're a hate crime following you. No, they're making sure there's not going to be some crazy mass murder thing or something that's going to happen because they're doing all this to you. Yeah. They're watching you every second. That's why they're assigned to you. And they don't, and the thing of it is this technology can be used any way they choose to do it. But they want to see the short-term and long-term damage that these weapons do. Now, they have a name for a lot of these weapons that they call them non-lethal weapons, which means, they're not going to kill you. Mm-hmm. But over a long period of time, yes, you can die. Yeah. Because radiation causes cancer.
Yes.
And they're saying, well, it's non-ionizing and, but the microwave is a very dangerous frequency, and nobody wants to be sitting in front of an open microwave or get microwave, rays on them. So why do we want them? It's dangerous. We don't know what we're going to end up with in the end of this test. And they're basically looking at this from a clinical perspective. Like, we're just trying to find out what these weapons are going to do. Mm-hmm. Are you serious? It's so bizarre. And, to someone who, believes in her country. And, when I found out who was doing this, I was crushed. And, I thought it was some kind of hate crime at first.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was an ex attacking me. But see, what's bad about this is that it can be something like this. There's more and more things coming forward where somebody wanted someone's land. They just get a hold of some of this equipment and terrorize that person.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they're not going to stay.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay, and they get that land for nothing. A senior person that they're waiting on an inheritance. There was one woman, they had pictures of really bad burns. They put her in a mental institution for saying somebody was climbing around on the roof, burning her. That story's online, and she died in an institution. Why? Because she said someone was burning her. She had burns all over her body.
Yeah.
And what happened? Somebody showed up at that nursing home, flashed the badge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or some kind of important document or something. She's crazy. And that was it. And that poor woman didn't stand a chance, and somebody got her property. So this stuff can be used in so many terrible ways. You just cross the wrong person, and you don't even mean to. You have a bad day, and you have words with someone, and that person happens to be in this mix. This is very dangerous.
Let me give some facts out there, because sometimes people say, okay, you're talking, give me some facts. And this is just not even a fact. It's just a simple example. There was a bill by former Representative Congressman Dennis Kucinich, H.R. 2977, was the Space Preservation Act of 2001. All you had to see that bill, the original bill, and there was the mention of chemtrails, particle beams, electromagnetic radiation, plasmas, ELF, extremely low frequency, ultra low frequencies, energy radiation, or mind control technologies. I wasn't exactly a political fan on economics when it comes down to Mr. Kucinich, but he was a man of integrity, at least to try to bring this up. When this bill was trying to sponsor this bill, that technically was called they call him the Space Preservation Act of 2001. But when it was revealed in 2002, all these magic words that I just told you disappeared. Okay? So this is a fact. They have this technology. This is not even funny. It's so stupid to even talk about it. We had this technology, they had this technology probably 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Now it's a new level. So the point is, if you don't want to believe somebody can use it, you're a fool. You're just a fool. Like you still want to believe that was Building 7 didn't exist, or the Pentagon was hit by an airplane. Seriously, feel sorry for you. But I don't care. I keep talking, and I want to talk to people that want to listen. That's all I can do. Now, my goal is how we can defend ourselves. This is hours going so fast. It's not even funny. I want to start to find solutions. And I want your opinion, of course. Then I give you my little 2 cents. Even maybe I may not be a TI, but I can start to feel, I can start to see how they really can damage you. I start to feel that there is a way that we can start to defend ourselves, at least partially. Give me, please, your way that you think a person that who thinks to be targeted, how they can try to find some way of defending themselves.
Well, it depends. If it's on the level that I'm at where I have implants and nano and all kinds of stuff in my body, I'm left pretty defenseless. At least that's what I've been told in the investigation. There are some things that work, like, for example, you can play an positive frequency around the negative frequencies. You can get signal jammers. You have to be careful, though, because most of these weapons, there's a signal. Mm-hmm. It comes in on a signal, like either a ham radio signal or like similar to a radio signal. Yes. So basically, you can get a jammer. If you get a real strong jammer, the problem, if you're in a place where it's not going to hurt anything, that's fine. The problem is that if you're in a community and you're jamming everybody's networks, it's going to make some people mad.
Yes.
So, you can also buy, different places that sell certain materials. In my case, most of it does not work. Now, because they're testing weapons on me, and this is a big, big budget operation, what I do is when I find something that works, I'm helping them perfect their weapons because they find a way around it.
Mm-hmm.
I had up to 8 layers of different shielding materials under my hat to protect my head because one of the tortures is thumps to the brain, and it's extremely painful. It's satellite hits to the brain. And I've had as many as 224 thumps to the brain in a day.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's awful torture. I mean, there's really no way to describe the stuff I suffer. But anyways, on a low target day, I get about 50 thumps to the brain. On a high target day, it can be between 150 and over 200. And it goes right through the skull and hits the brain.
Wow.
Because that's the technology. And whenever you're getting burnt with they use masers on me, and a maser is carried by electricity. And all you have to do is Google Army shoots maser with electricity, and you'll see. And I have pictures. I've caught pictures of the masers, and so has many other targeted people. And a maser burns really bad. And, now keep in mind there's different levels. These are maybe a handheld from the car. Regardless of whatever they are, they burn and they hurt. And then I've had people, at one point, the stalkers were all carrying handheld lasers, and they were burning me.
Wow.
And when I called, yeah.
Let me stop you 1 second, because time is going so fast, and we got to go back one more time. This is my just 2 cents. Of course, I didn't go even through, not even close to what you were going through or what you went through. But I tell you something, when it comes down to your mind, the biggest weapon I found out really that you need to try to conquer, or at least to achieve, is faith. I don't care which religion. I'm not here to preach, okay? But better start to believe that there is good and there is evil. And you believe in good. And you stick to that good. You make like your little island. You're going to stay there no matter what. You do not leave that island. That's the one thing really I can tell you, that it's like can be a battle, can be something that is so powerful. They want to almost to transform you in something that you are not. That's for me the most important thing I would like to share with the listeners. Unfortunately, time is going fast. And second thing, is try to stay healthy. If you have a healthy body, you may also have a healthy mind. Don't eat garbage. Don't eat the GMO food. Don't drink their fluoride. Don't eat their processed. Don't eat all this estrogen. Try to understand what you're eating, because you are what you eat. If you don't nourish your body cannot regenerate itself, cannot defend itself. So the brain. Have a little education about what you're trying to eat. And have faith. This is the only 2 things I want to say, because of course then we can help ourselves to try to shield ourselves, and that's fine, it's great, but there is always something they can find more than we have. By the end of the day, we have the most powerful weapon is our will and in our heart. That's the point. This is a battle, good against evil. Even if we are on planet Earth, doesn't matter. It's still just an extension of what's happening on the other dimension. We got to stick to good. That's what I'm trying to say. You think I'm crazy, or maybe onto something?
No, I agree. And a lot of us that have survived this crime, we boost ourselves up. I just had a smoothie, lots of fresh fruits, vegetables, anything we can do, antioxidants. I know it's all very important, to watch what you put into your body to help preserve yourself. But I want to also say that I have a very strong case, and I feel as the technology grows and the good grows, and we're talking about good, and I want to say this: we need good doctors, people that are honest, that'll say, yes, this is happening, or no, we don't want to see people get implanted, and we're going to help. We need people that are willing to write letters and to stand up and speak up. And the more that we do in the lines of good and strengthen that good amongst ourselves, the more our voice becomes powerful. And in this this show and anybody else who is presenting this to people, and they think about it, they look up the patents, and they, like you said, they do the research. We're gathering up people that are good, and there are more good than evil. We just need them to know what's happening and to stand by our side.
Yes, because
I believe we can do that.
And we have, honestly, as a human being, once you know at least part of the truth, because we don't know everything, of course, we have no other choice. You cannot stay silent anymore, because I tell you, this is what's happening now. It's a small scale. If I could see almost the future, I mean, forget about the boot on the face of humanity, like, the author of 1984 wrote. I'm talking about a boot on your brain. That's pretty much what's going to be. We're going to be completely... Go ahead.
I had a 3-year mind control experiment where, in the course of the weapons, where the weapons stopped temporarily, and and my whole personality changed during those 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I know what they can do is pick a particular part of your brain, and they can focus on that brain, they can create a more sexual person. They can take the sexuality away. They can make you more of an aggressive person. They can make you they can, all these things that, now keep in mind, all of this could be used for good. They've proven that some electromagnetic radiation can be used to effectively against cancer. They've proven that they can do things with, people with brain issues with this, but it's not being used for good. Right. It could be. Yeah,
of course. A lot of things could be used for good, but the point, you're given the type of power, evil is going to use it for what they think is evil. Listen, I need to thank you and let you go for now, but please be in touch with me. And I want to say to all listeners, please, have an open mind. I'm not saying that I know everything. We know probably 1%, but whatever we know, let's try to learn from each other and let's share what we know, okay? You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, and if anybody else has information with proofs and evidence of what's going on, go to lovegunsfreedom.com and send me an email. I would like to hear from you. Don't go away. Ready for our number 2. It's going to be all about guns. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.FM network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. This is the hour about guns. I must tell you, I am really excited today more than ever because, as I told you many times, the purpose of the show is to learn from each other and to break the barriers of stereotypization. Hope I say it right. Stereotypization. My God, only God knows if you can understand me. But that's not the point. The point is I'm really excited because, when people ask me, oh, you're a gun owner or you like guns, and then they start to put you in that type of, closet, okay? They say, okay, you must be a hunter, and you must be, your political opinions, and blah, blah, blah. You must be a right-wing, whatever. That's wrong. I really believe that when it comes down to guns, a more important Second Amendment, it's a right. It is not just like the sport. For me, it's a right, and it's a duty as a human being to defend freedom and to defend innocent life. That's what it's about. So when it comes down to that, I think that's right should cross every type of political party or sexual affiliation. It's not about party, it's not about sex. It's about freedom. It's about life. It's about, as I said, defending innocent life and also defending our rights to live our life the way we want. That's why really I'm so excited today, because I've been listening and I've been talking with friends about this organization a long time ago. When I came to America 18 years ago, I was, into guns pretty soon. And then in 2005, somebody told me, hey, by the way, there is this group called the Pink Pistols, and they're really good about the Second Amendment. I said, wow, interesting. And now, of course, I was learning a lot about all this. So anyway, today I have the spokesperson, or at least the first speaker, I guess, of this organization called the Pink Pistols. Now, let me see if I do not distort his name again, like normally I do with everybody. His name is Gwen Patton. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Luca, and it's she, not he.
Oh, sorry. You
That's
see,
okay.
That's okay. Great. I'm sorry. I'm let's say, sex blind. I just consider as a human being. I have no idea, but that's great. I'm so excited. I tell you. To this, for me, one of the most, I have on this show, on this hour, a lot of great people, like normally gun gurus, gun instructors, but today for me is one of the most exciting day that I have, because this is exactly the purpose of the show, to have people that normally don't fit the stereotypization of gun owner. And I love that, because I'm here to break the barriers. Just for example, in the past, I had Chris Chang. Are you familiar with Chris?
Oh, I know Chris very well. He's a member of our organization.
Perfect. And I was so happy, because it was one of my most exciting shows. Everybody said, oh, my gosh, I can't believe it. That's great. So anyway, listen. First of all, sorry for the he and she. That's my pleasure to call you my sister in freedom. Can I do that? Can I start with that?
You certainly can.
Very good. So now, I want you to introduce yourself a little bit and introduce a little bit your organization, because I think everybody should know about this. And I think it's a very incredible things what you're doing, guys and girls there. Go ahead, please, Gwen.
Okay. First, I'll let you know a little bit about the organization itself, how it came to be. Pink Pistols was founded in the year 2000 as a response to an article written by the openly gay columnist Jonathan Rauch on Salon.com. The name of the article was Pink Pistols. In that article, he suggested that homosexuals should form what he called Pink Pistols task forces to defend themselves against people who'd want to hurt them. He recommended the use of lawfully owned concealed firearms, because firearms are the most effective tool for defending yourself from harm, and also they're our right. Just as it's your right to defend yourself from harm, it's also your right to do it with the best tools available to you. Some friends in the Boston area, led by Doug Crick, who was at the time running for office on the Libertarian ticket in Boston, saw this article, contacted John, and asked if they could use the name, and he gave them his blessing. So they started the Pink Pistols, just as a group of people that got together to go shooting together. Well, this got picked up. People heard about it by word of mouth. It got to some reporters, and then they were in Newsweek magazine, and they had people asking, well, can we form chapters too? And Doug said, chapters? I never really considered that. Well, sure, go right ahead. Start a chapter.
Wow.
So this started to snowball around the country. People in different communities, the Twin Cities, in Texas, in California, in Ohio. It just started to snowball everywhere. People wanted to start a chapter. And eventually, over the years, we got a lot of chapters, and, we've been through a lot of changes over the years, but not on our basic idea. The basic central principle of the Pink Pistols is that we recommend the use of lawfully owned and carried firearms for the self-defense of the sexual minority community. Put it simply and very poetically, we teach queers to shoot, then we teach the world we've done it.
Very good.
The idea is to set up a deterrent effect so that the people that think that it's safe to attack gay people, the people that have this stereotype in their head that gay people are weak and defenseless and won't fight back, this proves them wrong. And now if they know about us, suddenly now it's not as easy as saying, oh, they're gay, they're weak. No, the stereotype is now broken. And they have to consider that some random gay person out there that they want to attack might be a Pink Pistol and might be able to defend themselves from harm, probably with a method that they are not as good at.
Exactly. And this is exactly reinforces what I've always been saying. This is a human right. I don't care if you are man, woman, between, color, or accent. It's as a human being, you have the right to defend yourself as a person, defend also innocent, because it's in many states, you have also, technically it's a morally things to do. If let's say I see an innocent person being, somebody's trying to kill him or kill her, it's my duty as a human being to try to stop that criminal act. Okay, that's the point, and save his or her life. So that's exactly what it comes down to, and that's why sometimes I get a little stressed out and little down when I see these people. They're trying to put the Second Amendment as a sort of a sport, of a hobby, or hunting. I don't even hunt. I barely eat meat. But the point is for me exactly what you say. It is our right. And I'm so glad because, unfortunately, this is always part of the political parties that, in my opinion, they try to separate us and divide us as human beings. They're always trying to say, okay, if you are, let's say, into the Second Amendment, you must be some sort of a right-wing wacko. If you are, let's say, gay or for the community of, let's say, different sexuality, you must not like guns. And that's so wrong. Because if you're a human being, I guess, doesn't matter what type of sexuality you have the right to defend yourself, and you've also your rights. I tell you, somebody come to me and they say, you cannot speak, or they try to, let's say, especially here in the state of Arizona, we can carry without permits and also open carry. We also have the right to stand our ground. I tell you, I can exercise my First Amendment in this state in a much more peaceful way without the fear to be beaten up like I would do, for example, in some other states that I don't have the right to carry a gun with me. So it's about also freedom of speech. You guys and everybody else has the right to exercise your rights without being afraid that maybe somebody can knock you down in the middle of the street. That's pretty much the idea too. So exciting. Where are you located exactly? Which state?
I am personally in Pennsylvania. I'm in the western suburbs of Philadelphia.
Okay.
We have chapters all over the continent. We got chapters in Canada. We got many chapters in California. We've got chapters all over the West Coast, all over the East Coast, all over the flyover state, everywhere. We've got chapters everywhere. And this week in particular, as a response to Orlando,
yes,
we have gotten more requests for information on how to start a chapter this week than we've had in the past 2 years.
Wow. How can somebody want to join or want to start a chapter? What do they do?
Okay, first of all, how to join the Pink Pistols is really easy. All you have to do is you have to believe in what we stand for. You have to believe in the self-defense of the sexual minority community with lawfully owned guns. You don't have to be a member of the sexual minority community. A straight person can be a member of the Pink Pistols just like anyone else. In fact, a lot of our members are straight. All you have to do, if you believe that, is raise your hand and say, I'm a Pink Pistol, and bingo, you're a Pink Pistol just like that.
Wow.
It's automatic. You self-declare yourself to be a member. There's no membership forms. There's no dues.
That's exciting.
To start a chapter,
yes.
To start a chapter, you just have to have at least two, preferably more people, all gathered together, and they decide on a name. They figure out where they're going, what area they're going to serve. They get a web presence, like a website or a Facebook page. They let me know that they're all together and that they're doing this, and where I can link them, and then I put them on the website. It's just as easy as that. All of this is in our Pink Pistols utility manual on our website. Excellent,
excellent. And let's give your website, please. This is very good. You want me to give it? You give it. It's better. You got better accent.
Absolutely. pinkpistols.org. That's pinkpistols.org.
And I will put also the link of this website, hopefully with a photo of one of your members. I really like that. And by the way, just for the listeners, I have a pink wig, just to let you know. I never told you that. And and I have also a pink rifle. You don't know, but 3 years ago or so, I think, I know for sure, I did a YouTube. I was trying to reach out to the community of, I'm a straight guy, okay? I'm sure my listeners understand, but I don't really care what they think anyway. The point is, I did that video because I wanted to share the concept that this is a human right, and I wanted to hope that people like you, that normally they try to always to put them in, hey, he's a gay or he's lesbian, must be follow the agenda of what the party says. No, you use your brain and you understand this is a right, valuable, and belongs to every human being. So I did this video, I'll send it to you, by the way, that I was shooting I have a little pink rifle. It's an AR-15 MP, pink and black, very cute. And I have my little pink wig and with pink glasses and a pink purse. So I wanted to make my little point. It was a little fun video, but it was very serious. The message was very serious. And I say, hey, guys, let's unite, because this right belongs to all of us, but for sure, for people like they always could be in the crosshair, and today could be a gay, tomorrow could be a lesbian, tomorrow could be also a white guy in the wrong neighborhood. Okay, doesn't matter. It's always question. Minority is always question wherever you are. Today you're a minority, but tomorrow the other person could be a minority. So it's about human rights. So anyway, this little video was pretty fun, and I'm going to post a photo of myself with my new pink hat that I have. But anyway, back to this. First of all, I was going to ask you something. If I want to, you said before, even straight people can join the club. Now, there are no memberships, so I would like officially, with all the witnesses of listeners, future and present, since this show is going to be on YouTube for posterity, I would like to join the Pink Pistol organization. Can I get your special blessing?
You are now a Pink Pistol with all the rights and duties thereof.
Excellent. Now, this is really good. I love that. Now, in Arizona here, I see that I live in Mojave County, Arizona, okay? It's northwest Arizona. I'm going to look on your site, and I want to see if there is any group already, because I really would like to meet everybody, and that would be so great, even to maybe go shoot together. That's the idea, I think
That's exactly the idea.
The spirit to get together and knowing each other. Say, after all, as I said, I said this on my show many times. I don't care. I'm not here to judge others. I'm not your priest. I'm a sinner myself. And I'm not here to tell you how to live your personal life. All I care that, I don't care if you're straight or gay. All I care that you respect me and you do your personal things in the privacy of your space, like I would do if I was, and if you are a straight guy, I don't like you do things in front of me. Do it in front of your, in your bedroom or in your car, whatever. But my point is, beside that, none of my business. That's the way the spirit also of the show. It's called Love, Guns, and Freedom for a reason. We don't want government to legislate morality. That's not supposed to be its business. Anyway, tell me something about yourself. Pennsylvania is a pretty friendly state when it comes down to guns right compared to other neighbors states down there in the East Coast. Do you go, first of all, what is your gun of choice, if we can talk about that? Any specific gun you like?
Well, my current carry gun is a Kel-Tec PMR-30.
Okay.
It's a 22 Magnum with a 30-round magazine, which is something you can't have out in California, out on the West Coast. A lot of the states don't like that large magazine, but this is the stock magazine for this weapon. And the reason I carry that one, a lot of people are saying, but that's too small. The size of the round's too small. Well, I have to use a lighter caliber because I started my chapter in the Philadelphia suburbs back in 2001. Mm-hmm. But in 2006, I had an accident. I had my car trunk lid slammed down on my head in a 40-mile-an-hour wind, broke my neck.
Wow.
So now I have they managed to fix it. I'm not paralyzed, but I do have some complications. I have extreme pain throughout my body most of the time.
Wow.
So I can't do a lot of the things I used to do. I can't shoot my favorite 45 or anything like that, or my 357. I can't shoot those at range like I used to because the recoil goes up into my neck and it hurts.
Yeah. So
instead I've got the PMR-30, which is a lower recoil weapon, and I just have to be really good with it because those eensy-weensy ladylike bullets, I got to be careful of where I shoot them so that they'll have the right effect.
Let's not underestimate, by the way, the 22 Magnum because it's, in my opinion, first of all, I'd rather to have somebody that can hit a target with the 22 than miss it with the 44 Magnum. That's a fact, okay? Because the most important thing...
We always recommend Yeah, we always recommend that people use the largest caliber that they can shoot accurately and well.
Exactly.
If they can't shoot a .45 accurately and well, it's no good, no matter how big the round is.
Exactly.
What matters is being able to hit the target accurately, and that could be a 22, it could be a 38, could be a 32, could be a 25, could be a 45, could be a 43 9mm. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is the gun suits your hand, you're good with it, and you can hit the target when you shoot at it.
By the way, the PMR 30, it's a pretty interesting gun because the 22 Magnum, first of all, you have a very high speed, okay, and even the 22. By the way, the gun that normally, the caliber that normally creates more death, okay, believe it or not, it is the 22, the regular 22. According to statistics, because it's underestimated. Sometimes people by accident really think it's just a 22, was little bullet, but it's so fast, so little, and really goes into your body and it creates damages. So I tell you, it's an incredible gun, by the way. I shot a couple times, just a little expensive on the ammo, but once you find the source and you find the right type of brand that it works, it cycles correctly, I think it's a very good gun. It's light. You got a lot of rounds. You can have, technically, the old gun with the loaded gun, it's the same weight of a 30 rounds magazine or 5.56 round with the ammo. So pretty unique, interesting. You ever heard about Front Sight Nevada, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Are you a member?
A number of our members go there.
Are you
Unfortunately, I'm all the way in the East Coast, so I'm not a member.
Okay.
And I don't know what I would do with my powered wheelchair out there trying to train on their tactical range.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to do that, I'd love to go to Front Sight sometime.
Okay.
I'd love to be able to take that training, but I don't travel very well.
I understand.
And my powered wheelchair is very heavy and takes a lot of space.
I was going to offer you, just because I really like what you're doing, a Front Sight. This is not even sponsor, it's me, okay? Front Sight is not my sponsor. I am a life member, and I've been going there several times, and I'm pretty close. Differently from you, I live 3 hours away by car, so pretty lucky. So anyway, I purchased several packages of membership that I like to, of course, share. People normally get them from me. But I like also to give them to people like yourself, my special guest, and if you want, I would love to give it to you. If you are able to travel, let me know. I would like to give you as a gift. Or let's say if you cannot do it, if there is any special member, I can afford just one, okay? But I would like to donate one lifetime membership to yourself or to any member of your group that you maybe can do, I don't know, a draw or some sort of a little competition, whatever you like. It's a lifetime membership at Front Sight Nevada offered by myself. So let me know. All you have to do, let me know, write me an email, and I'll provide all the information how to get it.
I really appreciate that, Luca. That's an incredible gift.
Very good. Because
hopefully, if I can't make use of it, I will try to find somebody that can make good use of it, because one of the things we are very strong about is emphasizing that people get training, and not just training punching holes in targets, but getting training so they know how to respond to a criminal act, or to an act of terrorism, or to some other act where they have to respond to someone shooting at them.
Exactly.
Not just shooting holes in paper.
Exactly. It's completely two different stages. Everybody after a little bit of practice, you can hit a paper target that doesn't move, it doesn't shoot back. In the good day, under the under the shade, ideal conditions. Then when it comes down to real life training, you must find a type of training. And I tell you, Front Sight, I really believe it offers an incredible curriculum available to regular people like us. We don't need to join the Army or Special Forces. So that's why. And the good thing is, wherever you find somebody that will be able to get this gift that I'm giving you guys, then when they come back, when this person comes back, they can share with you everything they learn. And that's the most valuable part, whatever the person.
Absolutely.
You go back and you share, by the way, this is the curriculum, and you can get your basic curriculum and going through together, and that's the spirit. Okay, listen, now let's talk a little bit about Orlando a little bit. This has been already, probably you've been already so many times talking during the last few days about this, and I don't even want to focus too much on that, because there is a point that this is a right. I don't care if 51 or 99% of the population, they want to sign that petition for the White House, and say that just because they got a majority, I'm supposed to give up my rights. I don't even play that game. But still, we need to put some logic, and my goal through the show is to try to reach people that maybe they're a little bit on the fence, and we need to win their heart and mind and say, hey, wait a second. This is not the fault of a gun. I don't care which gun. And by the way, this is not even an AR-15. I don't care if it was an AR-15. This individual that perpetrated allegedly, because so far we didn't have all the, I mean, we have the evidence, but I would like to always see the final official version or whatever they say. It's not about the rifle. It's about the person. So I like to talk a little bit. Maybe if we can try to reach out. People normally they're on the fence or they think guns, they're so evil and we need to ban them. And automatically and magically, we're all going to live in some sort of a kumbaya perfect world where no crimes is going to be perpetrated. Give me your input. What do you think about this, Orlando? How could be prevented it? And what do you think is wrong in that situation? Besides, of course, the fact that innocent life, they were completely... It's not even killed. That was like a slaughterhouse. 3 hours waiting for the cops, for what I heard. Are you familiar with that fact that more than 3 hours plus?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, what it is when it became a hostage situation, when Mateen took hostages in the bathroom at the club, then it turned into a hostage situation, and the police just couldn't have a shootout with him and kill him and get him out of there. They had to proceed very carefully, and the SWAT team had to come in and try to negotiate. And there's a protocol that they have to follow that is to try to minimize the amount of danger to the hostages. And eventually, they just had to go barreling in there. And from what I gather, there may have been some people injured by the police in the process of getting Mateen. But this whole thing is predicated on the problem that people associate alcohol and guns badly. They say alcohol and guns don't mix. Mm-hmm. And I agree. You never want to be drunk with a gun. That's just not right. But if you're just being in a bar doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be drunk.
Exactly.
What I thought was if we treated it like driving under the influence, if the law was changed, that club was a gun-free zone. It was a victim disarmament zone because it's not legal to have a firearm in a bar in Florida. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion is change that law so that it's no longer illegal to have a weapon in the bar. It's just illegal to be drunk with a gun.
Exactly.
Make your blood alcohol level, even if it's 0.01, a blood alcohol content above which they're in deep kimchi. They are in real trouble. But below that, they're golden.
Gwen.
That way we can have not just designated drivers, but designated defenders.
Exactly. In Arizona, we have this one. Let me tell you what we have. We have recently, a few years ago, a law that if you are a CCW holder, of course, here in Arizona, we can carry guns concealed without any more CCW, okay? We don't need permits. It's like Vermont. But if we want to walk into a bar where alcohol is served, we must have a CCW, and we must not, like a designated driver, we're supposed not to drink. But we can eat and do everything else. So at least you always have somebody that could be the driver, and of course, also, as you said, the defender. So, and that's, I think it's a very common sense law, but another thing, I'm pretty disappointed with the club owner, because if you have, anyway, such a big number of attendees, of patrons, and you need to put security. And unfortunately, the cops is always a few minutes away when you're already dead. I was hoping at least among the security that I'm sure that he had or she had, the owner of the club, maybe it was some armed security. Are you familiar with anything like that? Maybe there was any armed security.
There was one armed bouncer. I believe he was an off-duty police officer who was acting as a bouncer that night. Uh-huh. But he engaged Mateen outside the club and then ran out of ammo.
Oh, my gosh.
He didn't have very much ammo with him. He ran out of ammo, and Mateen, they thought he was wearing a suicide vest, but it wasn't. was just all the ammo he had in this vest that he was wearing. He had piles of ammo.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to worry about how many rounds he expended trying to get past the guard.
Yeah.
But the guard only had like one magazine, 12 rounds or something like that. So he couldn't engage him long enough to really get any benefit.
Wow.
That's another reason why I carry that PMR-30. It's got enough ammo that I might actually be able to make a difference in a situation like that.
Yes.
Also, we had the problem that it was at the end of the night. It was just about to close. It was at 2 a.m. They had just issued last call. They were trying to get people, packed up to go. Everyone was tired. The bouncer was tired after a long day, and he got surprised. And when you got the element of surprise on your side, you've got a really big advantage.
Yeah.
So the attacker had ammunition, he had surprise,
Wow.
and he had the fact that the defender didn't have a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
So he was delayed, and the fact that there was someone armed on the premises is probably what caused Mateen to eventually take hostages.
Wow. You know probably more details that I do. I mean, I didn't know that part, and thank you for sharing, by the way. And this is one of the first things I always say, and I like to share with my listeners. There have been many cases in the past, and some they are so sad because they ended up so bad. There was, for example, an off-duty policeman about 15 years ago or so in a little part of Los Angeles that he was shopping with his little son at the convenience store. And he just carried his little back gun, like a revolver 38 special with probably 5 or 6 rounds at top, okay? And he was minding his business. Out of the blue, they come like 3 guys, and they start to go for a robbery. And, you do not engage 3 bad people with shotguns and whatever weapons they had, plenty ammo, long weapons with your little 38 special, and you do not leave your home with just 5 rounds. And that's exactly what happened there, and unfortunately it was a bad ending. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't like to dwell on things when you always say, I told you. No, I didn't tell you, but I wish we can learn from this. At least if you carry a gun, you already open your mind that things may happen, that we are living in a world where evil is out there. So there is one chance in a million that we may have to use that gun. So unfortunately, we better start to think now that, like you have a spare tire, you need to have at least a spare magazine, even 2 if it's possible, and an extra box of ammo in the car. Because sometimes, especially, for example, if you live in a little bit of isolated country area like I live, you never know how long it's going to last the situation before somebody finds you. So that's the spirit of learning also this. Now, this security guard that was at least try to confront and stop the assailant, did he make it or he was killed? I'm not in.
That much I don't know.
Okay.
I hadn't heard whether he lived or died, and that he may have been killed because he ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a speculation on my part.
Now, there is a lot of people, everybody, the media, I don't trust anything they say, but everybody say their things, and more important, I like to know what you think. Why you think this crime, how was motivated? You think it was just a crazy person, or maybe there was an ideology behind, or I don't know. What is your opinion? Then I can give you mine, of course.
Well, from the reports that I've heard, Mateen did make phone calls to 911 and claimed that he was doing this in the name of the Islamic State. And who knows? The Islamic State has declared that they are responsible for this, but they may just be taking advantage of the situation too. There's no telling. He may have. There's been speculation that he himself may have been gay, and that this may have been some kind of a self-loathing thing. Who knows? Maybe he got jilted by somebody there. We don't know. But the idea that it was ideologically inspired or inspired from just sheer hatred, or he had some beef with the people there, we don't know, and it's irrelevant. What's relevant is this is a person who did a horrible thing. And what makes me annoyed, frustrated beyond words, is when they blame the gun. And this was why I said in my press release, I said, let's not reach for that low-hanging fruit. It's just so ripe and so perfect there to suit the agenda of people who want to ban guns in general. Oh, it's this evil AR-15, even though it wasn't an AR-15.
Yes.
It's this evil black rifle, because everyone knows that the evil black rifles are shootier than the other kinds.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to see that, because it's not about the weapon. It's about the mindset.
Yes.
It's about the belief that killing and hurting other people furthers your goal.
Yes.
And this is what we have to fight against. We have to say no. If you have this idea that you can attack people, and worse, to attack them with impunity, that you think you can get away with it because there's no one there that can fight back. First of all, if you're attacking a target that can't fight back, that's cowardly.
Exactly.
That's taking the easy way. That you're in no massive amount of danger. Now, he probably expected that the police would kill him or something like that, but he may also have thought that he could just run in, kill a bunch of people, and run out and go home and be safe, because there's nobody there that's going to be able to shoot back, because it's a bar and they can't have guns in bars.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably didn't plan on there being an armed security guard that actually exchanged fire with him. And now he's been delayed, and there's been an alert because there were shots fired before he got in. So now he has the cops on the way, and he's probably going to die. But his initial thoughts may have been, I can just run in, kill all these people, and run back out again. Aha. And this is the mindset we've got to combat. We've got to stop these people when they pop up. When they pop up and say, I'm going to kill you, so you may try, but I don't think you're going to succeed, and do your best to stop.
Yes. You know what I believe, Gwen?
I don't care what tool you use.
Exactly.
If you don't have access to guns because the law doesn't allow it, use something else.
Oh, listen.
Maybe pepper spray if it's not, it might have been too difficult to use in a crowded club. But if you're right up next to him and he's right in your face, and you can swing up your arm and spray him in the eyes with pepper spray, that may slow down his ability to hurt anyone else. And even if you lose your life defending others like that, that's better than having 50 people dead and 53 injured.
Exactly. Gwen, I always
if we can send one person home to their loved ones alive,
mm-hmm.
instead of in a bag, that's a net win.
Yes.
We still lose a lot.
Yes.
Every single person we pull back from the jaws of death and send them home alive, we are doing good.
Yes. And this is
We're not giving in to the bad. We're doing good by clawing those people back from the brink.
Yes.
That's what we need to do. We need to do whatever we can. And I saw a video just yesterday, I think it was, of a guy that's teaching people to swarm someone that's coming in like that,
mm-hmm.
to beat him down to the ground and subdue him.
Yes.
To avoid the bad end of the gun that's going to hurt you, and just pile on him instead of running and scattering and hiding and cowering in fear. Give your life trying to stop this guy if necessary. If they lose the benefit that they think they can do it without being stopped, without being opposed, maybe like the reason why the Pink Pistols exist. If they don't think that they can do it safely for themselves, maybe it will deter them.
Yes, and you're right. You said the most important thing for me. The weapon, after all, is just an extension. We are.
Did I lose you, or are you still there?
We are the weapon. We are the weapon. The weapon itself is an extension of your will to be free and to be alive, to fight.
Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, okay. We are on the phone with Gwen. Gwen, are you there? Hello, hello, hello. I think I need to call him back. Let me call him back.
Luca, I'm not hearing you.
Okay.
Are you still there?
I'm here. Let me call you back, Gwen. Okay, 1 second. I'll call you back. Okay? Okay, we're on the phone with Gwen and from the Pink Pistols. Little problem with communication. Let me call him back. Hopefully the line is going to work. Hey, Gwen?
Yes.
Sorry, I lost you.
You lost.
No, I heard everything. You were talking and you couldn't hear me, but now I think you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Call is now being recorded.
Perfect. So what I was trying to say, when you say something very important, after all, the weapon is just a tool. We are the weapon. Our mindset is the most important weapon. And you
Exactly.
you need to train, as you say. That video that you were watching, I think, is very important. But you need to prepare yourself before, because when you're in the middle of the panic mode, your brain is gonna just go in a panic mode, and you need to set in your training. And after all, when your logic starts to think, somebody's shooting at us, it's 300 of us, it's one bastard out there. Instead of running and becoming like a bunch of little rabbits running around and hunting season, we are becoming now rabbits with the teeth, that we're going to jump on his neck and we're going to bite his neck. That's why I don't care if I have a weapon, a gun, a pencil, or just my finger. I will use everything I have to stop that evil bastard on his track. That's the idea. And I'm glad, you're really good. I tell you, you got exactly the mindset of I say, a warrior, and by the way, speaking about warrior, people maybe don't know that. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Just 1 second, get out of Orlando. You're familiar with the Spartans?
Oh, yeah, the Spartans? Oh, yeah.
They were pretty gays, that, in battle.
Yeah, they were vicious.
They were vicious, but they also have a lot of, let's say, bonding among themselves. You know that there was this sort of sexual bonding among the soldiers. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, that's a rumor I've heard. Yeah.
No, it's not a rumor. I studied that. When I was in Italy, I really love a lot to study ancient history. I did classical studies and reading different, also philosophy like Plato and different books. That was a fact. Let me tell you, I'm not saying that must be a good or bad. It's just a fact that the Spartans, as much as they were very macho and, probably the most trained warriors in the ancient Greece, they had this sort of, let's say, very close relationship among each other. And also there was part of, let's say, some sort of strategy to really bonding together in the battle. Because in the battle, they were looking at each other almost like they were lovers. And they would die for each other. I don't know if
they were family.
Yeah, they were family. I don't know if you were familiar with that. I wanted just to share with my listeners. Probably they think I'm crazy, but that's true. I mean, that's part of history. So I don't know if you were aware of that, but I wanted just to share with you something maybe new to share with your friends, So the Spartans, not everybody, but most of them, it was common and was a normal thing for them to have a relationship among each other. And on top, of course, they have women and wives and whatever. That's another story. Listen, I want to give you the floor, because this is exactly the idea. I would like you to talk for a moment, like now you're talking to people that hate guns. Because if they listen to me, they think, okay, it's Luca, the crazy gun nuts that he has 3 guns in his car and he goes shopping at Walmart with an AR-15. Always never breaking the law. I mean, Arizona, I do that correctly by the law. But instead, coming from you, maybe they can say, okay, let's listen to Gwen. He's a guy, after all, that maybe is more normal and more sane than luca-zanna. I give you the floor. Talk to this type of stereotype of people that normally they want now to ban the guns for all of us. And they're begging Obama to be good daddy, and just because somebody else, one person out of 300 million, committed a crime, now the rest of Americans must pay the penalty to have our right gone. I give you the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Where can we start? Let's start with the AR-15. Now, given that this wasn't actually an AR-15 that he used, but it was a, quote, evil black rifle, unquote, let's consider, what is an AR-15? First of all, I'm going to say it's not, the AR does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle. Armalite was the company that developed it for the military originally. Now, it is not a weapon of war. It was developed as a machine gun that became the military M16. The machine gun is the one that when you hold the trigger back, it keeps firing over and over and over again until the magazine is empty or until you let go of the trigger. That's a machine gun. That is an assault rifle. An assault rifle is a military arm that has a selector switch on it that can shoot either a single shot or multiple shots with each pull of the trigger. An AR-15 is a totally different mechanism. It only looks like an M16. The interior guts of the weapon shoots only one round every time you pull the trigger, so it can only fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. But that's true of any gun. It can fire as fast as you can pull the trigger until you're done. Revolvers can do that. If you got a 9-shot 357 revolver, you can fire that thing 9 times as fast as you can pull the trigger, and it's a revolver. It's not the evil semi-automatic weapon. Now we get to the term semi-automatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fully automatic. It's only semi-automatic. The only automatic part about this weapon is that when you fire the bullet, it ejects the empty casing and takes another round from the magazine and puts it into the chamber. Then it stops. Then it just stops and waits until you pull the trigger again. It's not like a fully automatic weapon that also keeps firing as it's putting the bullets into the chamber. So it's only half automatic. That's why it's called semi-automatic, and it's not a machine gun.
Exactly.
We have not been able to legally own machine guns that were manufactured after 1986. So most of the machine guns that are out there from like Desert Storm and all the other wars that we've had since then in Afghanistan, those weapons are not available for civilian use. And there's only about 150,000 total fully automatic weapons that are privately owned in the United States. And those people that own those guns, first of all, they had to pay massive amounts of money for them. They're incredibly expensive. Second of all, they had to go through multiple background checks. So with the FBI, they had to be checked completely, 100%, scrutinized with a microscope.
Yeah.
Then they had to pay an extra tax stamp, a $200 fee to the government just for the right to have that weapon. They're unbelievably regulated. They are very rare. They almost never come on the market. They're held by collectors that keep them locked away in vaults. Machine guns are not used in crimes in the United States. The only time one might be used is when someone has illegally smuggled one in from outside the country. Then you might find a machine gun being used by a criminal. Most of the weapons that are used by criminals to commit crimes are handguns. And there are all kinds of handguns. They're cheap ones, they're expensive ones. Usually they're stolen. So they're not going to gun stores or gun shows and buying guns from dealers. They're not buying them from people at a gun show. They're buying them from some guy in an alley out of his trunk. They're buying them on the black market. So making laws to close, quote, loopholes that don't exist is a waste of our time. It's a waste of our legislators' time because these things don't happen and don't exist.
Yes.
Now let's get back to the AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
And why ban this gun? The attitude is this is an evil gun that's only for killing people. Well, I hate to break it to people, but weapons are for killing things. Weapons are for causing damage to other things. Whether it's people or animals or whatever, they're designed to cause harm. That's their purpose. That's why they exist. So saying you want to make a safe gun is meaning you want to turn it into something that isn't a gun. Because gun equals going to do damage to something. That's what it's for. Now, people say, oh, well, we want to have special safety mechanisms on them, like, chamber indicators to show when there's a round in the chamber. Most guns have those now.
Mm-hmm.
And, they want to make sure that, if you drop it, it doesn't go off. Almost all guns that are manufactured now have that feature. The transfer bar was invented specifically so that you don't have a naked firing pin directly on the primer that when you drop it, that's going to jar it and make it go off. Mm-hmm. Guns don't go off by themselves.
Exactly.
The claim, the gun just went off. No, it didn't. Someone pulled the trigger. Guns do not just go off. Guns do not commit crimes. The phrase gun violence is an oxymoron. The gun is incapable of perpetrating violence. The person that's committing a gun violence is the person using the gun. Now, I defy anyone to locate for me on a drawing the brain in a gun. The gun does not have brains. It doesn't have nerves. It can't sprout arms and legs and go running down the street shooting itself at people. That's not what guns do. You can leave a gun sitting on the table for a year, and the only way that gun will go off is if someone picks it up and pulls the trigger. So it's not the gun, and guns do not emit evil hate rays that turn a perfectly normal and upright citizen into a slavering beast by some manner of magical mind control. They don't do that. The behavior of using a gun to hurt other people comes from the wielder. The gun is just a tool. It may be a tool designed to do a specific task, but then so is a screwdriver, so is an electric drill, so is a chainsaw. These are tools that, if misused, can hurt people. But that's misuse. A gun can hurt somebody, but if you use it to commit a crime, that is a misuse.
Yeah. And at the point, there are already laws out there, for example, that how many laws this alleged killer, okay, to kill all these innocent person at Orlando's club. He broke so many laws. You know, he carried a gun. There was a law that was a gun-free zone because there was alcohol was served. Like, really care about it? No, he didn't care. And there are laws that you cannot kill people. He couldn't care. He killed people. I mean, the point is, it's an illusion. A world that evil doesn't exist is an illusion. I wish we were all angels and we love each other. That would be great. Unfortunately, I really believe this is a battle between good and evil in this dimension. Right now, the tools that we have to defend ourselves, as we said before, it's our brain, first of all, is our mindset, but then there is also a weapon that could be 100 years ago, 200 years ago, maybe it was, a black powder. Now could be an AR-15. Tomorrow could be a Star Wars blasters. Doesn't matter. That's our right as Americans to have access to these tools. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, regardless what the mob and the petitions that can come down. But you put a very good logic into this, and I really appreciate that, because that is exactly what comes down. And I hope people that normally, this is not just Democrat, Republican stuff, because look now, Republican, they are pretty much doing the same thing that the crazy Democratic side wants to do. Now, the scary thing is not just about, say, okay, the Second Amendment is not moral right, but also the fact that they can tell you without any type of due process that you do not have that right because you are suspected to be connected to some sort of illegal or activity or terrorism. By the way, terrorism today would be also this conversation we're having. We don't agree with the establishment. This is called domestic terrorism. So did you hear about the new attempt for this is new Senate? They are trying to introduce in the Senate this pre-crime anti-gun legislation. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah, I heard.
And this is very scary. It
disgusts me.
Yeah, it's like...
It disgusts me.
What is the movie with Tom Cruise? The one that...
Minority Report.
Exactly. Okay, now we don't even have access to a due process. We cannot even face our accusers. I mean, and tomorrow they can say, we just put you straight to jail. You sound very, by the way, educated and informed about all this Second Amendment. I'm so proud I tell you, many other guys that I know that they don't even know half of what you know. I'm so glad that I have you on my show. Did you ever heard, just to come out from a moment from the Second Amendment, did you ever heard about the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012 with the clause of indefinite detention? You ever heard about that?
Oh, yeah, the NDAA was a big issue.
Yes.
Because it had so many things in there where you could just be, detained.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even have to tell you what the charge is.
Yeah.
There doesn't even have to be an official charge. And they can hold you for as long as they like just on suspicion.
Yeah.
These are the tools of a police state.
Exactly.
and I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist,
No.
but when you see the feathers appearing on the duck, you got to believe that that's going to be a duck.
Yeah. Listen, I want to say really I'm proud to have you today on my show, and I call you my sister in freedom. And I hope more people like you from every part of America understand that we are all under attack. We are all in danger. And it is about our rights of human beings to be free, to live our life the way we want without, of course, endangering or disrespecting others. And also, more important, to defend our lives against evil. And I really hope, this is going to be the opportunity we have right now to unite as Americans. And that's why I tell you, I have on my show now more, I have no parties anymore. I left the Republican Party a few years ago. And I hope more people can get out of the party trap and we start to look at each other as Americans, that we all have unalienable individual rights that no government should take away or give us. We have them just because we're here. And that's why I think this is important what we're doing. Listen, I want to say thank you again. And please let me know about the front site. I meant it. If there is any guy or girl that wants to be my guest as a lifetime membership at Frontside Nevada, I will donate myself one membership to one of your members.
I really appreciate that, Luca, and I'm really glad I was on your show today.
Perfect. And I want to send you I will post on Love, Guns, and Freedom my photo with my pink wig and my black rifle, okay? Since now
Excellent.
I'm a member of the Pink Pistols myself. Before I forget, before I let you go, I want to say, guys, listeners, this show is an act of love, seriously, and I don't rely on corporate sponsors. I do sell products that I create. And I want to say, if you can please share to your friends, your members, I created a product. It's called the Freedom Rifle. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna is the most affordable AR-15 on the U.S. market, made in the USA. Chamber in .223 Wild that you can shoot 5.56 and .223 for just $499. Let me say again, less than the price of a Glock. For $499, and you have lifetime warranty on the lower, and all the gun is made in the U.S. I don't know if you heard my price. Less than $500, $499, you have a complete AR-15 ready to go. And you watch the video. I want everybody, if they can go to www.freedomrifle.com. freedomrifle.com. Look at the videos called Testing the Rifle. By the way, I shoot a rifle from my testicles, not just to become descriptive, but I wanted to prove a point. There is no recoil. And, of course, I have my underwear, okay? But I wanted to share this with your listeners. Maybe they can check it out before the crazy moment of the factories and everything's going to go up. I still keep the price as low as I can, just $499. Okay, Gwen?
Good talking to you, Luca.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. A little break, and then we go to hour number 3. It's going to be all about love and news. Don't go away.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in .223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and .223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle, ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Tread on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Tread on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
It happens in seconds. Moms and dads, you know that feeling. Your child gets lost in a store, maybe just wanders off for a second or two. Your heart stops, though. Panic sets in, and you think the worst. It's happened to most of us, but what if you had a secret weapon, an extra layer of safety, so to speak? How far would you go to keep your children secure?
Would you be willing to microchip them? Experts tell us the technology already exists. Turns out one Bay Area mother is all for it, and she shared her story with our Melanie Michael.
Hey guys, good evening to you both. You know, chances are if you have a four-legged family member at home, it's already microchipped. And if the technology exists to save Fido in an emergency, what about microchipping your child? Before you say, no way, I would never do that. Hear one mom's story.
It's the longest 2 seconds of your life, and it's absolute panic.
I want my son back.
We've seen it in movies.
This is my daughter!
Over and over again, children gone missing.
It's terrifying.
For Stephanie Rodriguez-Neely, life is busier than ever, with 4 children, including a newborn. She knows scary situations can happen in an instant, and for her, it has.
If it'll save my kid, there's no step that's too extreme.
Stephanie's teenage daughter is a special needs child, prone to wander off and trust strangers. For that very reason, Stephanie wholeheartedly welcomes microchipping a child.
If a small chip the size of a grain of rice could have prevented a tragedy, I think most parents, hindsight would have said, I wish I would have done it.
But Stephanie is in the minority in her Tampa Bay moms group, where other mothers call this too sci-fi and invasive.
You're putting a battery in your kid, you're putting a chip in your kid, and where does it stop?
Turns out the technology to microchip your kids has existed since the early 90s, but hasn't really caught on.
Is it a little too science fiction for you? Very much so.
A well-known technology expert out of Boston tells us microchipping poses little to no health risks and would act as a barcode of sorts.
Without question. It could save a life, reunite a family, find a missing Alzheimer's patient.
I always tell people, as long as you're doing what you feel is best for your child, you're not really wrong.
And guys, this is what we're talking about, the microchip. I don't know if you can see it in my hand. It's the size of a grain of rice, very, very small. And the expert that we spoke with actually tells us that barcodes were introduced in the late 1960s, and back then people thought, this is way too invasive and too weird, and now barcodes are so commonplace that we don't even think about them anymore. The expert tells us this will happen sooner rather than later.
Here we go, guys. So you're going to be a slave sooner rather than later. Maybe this is just my extreme vision. Let's see what somebody else who's been in this world a little more than me, a little older than I am, and is born in America, so he's not just coming from an extreme immigrant, former immigrant like myself, that I think this is a bunch of conditioning to enslave humanity. But maybe I'm just extreme, right? So let's see what Ken from Michigan has to say about that. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Okay, my friend. You've been around a little longer than I am, and probably you've seen changes in this country more than I did because I came here just 18 years ago, so I'm kind of fresh still. But I'm freaking out. I don't know about you, because now they're doing it on our face. What do you think about this now news? I call it hit piece, propaganda piece, but they want to call it news. They try to condition it that now for safety, we should start to pretty much put a microchip in our children. So when they grow up, they already have the microchip and they're ready to be good slaves of the New World Order. What do you think about this? Am I too extreme, or maybe there is something going on?
No, you're not too extreme. You're not too extreme, Luca, at all. Luca, the first thing I'm going to say, I went to Mexico because I am a target individual.
Yes.
And I had a dentist in Mexico take a microchip out of my tooth where they did a root canal.
Oh my gosh.
So
you have it?
They've been doing this for many years. They're going to bring it on as something new. Like you heard the guy say your dog is microchipped, your cat. Well, if you go on the internet, there's a guy that found a microchip in his shoulder. You know how he found it? It caused cancer. He went to the doctor, and when they're digging it, he's trying to cut the cancer out. The microchip was in there.
Wow.
But now we're going to take it a little bit further. This here is the most evil thing that they can do. Because if you got a microchip in just like your computer or your phone can be hacked, these people think, if I put it in my child, and if they get kidnapped, we can find them, blah, 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 and all this good stuff. The bad guy can still hack your daughter or your son's microchip. He can turn it on or he can turn it off, and he does his. And if he kills them, then you'll never find them. They think they're going to be able to find their children because they got a microchip in them. Well, if it's the guy that's in the novel doing it, he's going to hack in and turn that microchip off. So you still ain't going to find them. So it's a very evil program, and it's like you said, when they get older, they've got that chip. Once it grows in and all your scar tissue stuff grows in, it's almost impossible to take them out.
Another thing also, so disturbing for many levels. First of all, the idea that once you have a microchip, that we really may have just merely an idea what exactly means, because they say, it's just a little GPS. Then can become also, as you said, a way that can control you. There is technology out there that they can already control your mind from outside your body. Imagine if they can put some sort of an electronic now it's talking about almost nanotechnology could be, in your body, that could be completely also control your brain on top of everything. And more important, the scary part is, this lady was so happy almost to say it, after all, it's like you have a barcode. So you are a product. You are a product. You have a barcode. You are not anymore a human being. They give you a number like you are on a prison planet pretty much. So it's so sad. how they're achieving this goal. I hope humanity is going to wake up and catch up with this their evil plan. That's all I can say. But tell me a little bit about you going to Mexico. I didn't know that you were going to Mexico. And did you have a chance to keep this evidence of this whatever you found in your root canal?
Yes, I did, Luke. I went to Mexico. Then after I found it, I took it into California. A friend of mine that held a machine shop had I think it was like a 6,000 power microscope. We put it under it.
Wow. And
my wife didn't believe it. He told her, he said, Carol, it was either a microchip or it's a science project going real bad that they had in. And I had the dentist take my whole tooth out, pull it out.
Wow.
So I took it to a private investigator up in Utah. I drove from California, Utah to have him check it. And he kept me up there for like 4 days while he was checking on me. He had equipment where he was checking to see if I had any more in my body. And I had it in an envelope, and I had it in the back seat of my truck. I had a Chevy Silverado. And at night when I was sleeping, they went in my truck and took it out. I do still have the negative, and my dentist's office still has the negative because I know which dentist did it. A dentist out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan did it. But I still got the from my other dentist I went to, they showing me my negatives after it's been a couple of years ago. I said, print me that off because it showed in my tooth it was there before. But now in Mexico, they took a whole deal of all your teeth, and then you could see it. What they done a root canal. They put the chip right down at the very bottom of the root, and they ran 2 real flimsy wires through it. Everybody said, oh, those are posts. They did that to strengthen it. No, they didn't. They drilled through each side of the tooth, and these wires are real flimsy. There's nothing strength in them. And they come right up to the top, and then they had a gold crown there. They covered it up.
So when you think that happened, do you think that happened while you were having a procedure with one of your dentists in the past?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I've been listening, and, I don't have still enough information and education on this matter, but I've been listening. I always keep my ears open because I say, one time could be just an accident. 2 start to become a little more than an accident. Then when you got 4, 5, 6, and 7, become almost a statistic. And I've been listening lately, especially in this world of that is really I'm starting to learn about it, of target individuals, that there are a lot of people that they are completely pointing out that they had similar implants in their body. Why you think they're doing that? Is to keep track of where you are going or where you are any time?
Yes, I think the reason they want the chip is just it's kind of like a locator chip. That way they know where you're at all the time. Once they know where you're at, they can hit you with the frequencies and do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
They really think they're going to turn this loose on all Americans when they get ready. It ain't going to be a few. It ain't going to be 1 million target individuals. It's going to be the whole population because they think they can control your behavior. They think they can control everything. You're going to be a good slave because they're going to have total control of you. And it's coming to America. Because right now there's a lot of people that's in this target individual program that has no clue that they're in it. But they're going to find out later. A lot of them refuse. They laugh at you. Just like the New York Times last week wrote an article about the paranoid schizophrenic target individuals. Well, I think they're going to have to retract that before it's over because, man, we got doctors, we got scientists, we got lawyers, we got a lot of people that they make target individuals like Karen Stewart, the woman who worked for the NSA.
Yes.
And she come out and speak.
Yes, and I think they're running scared, by the way. I believe that because speaking about former NSA whistleblower, Mrs. Karen Stewart, that also thanks to your help, I had her on the show, and I want to thank you for that because I think it was very important information to share. This is becoming more and more credible every time, okay? At least I'm not saying that because you work for Walmart, you cannot be target individual. Of course, anybody can have that type of, unfortunately, experience. But the problem is when you also work for a credible agency like that, and you have such a background check and all these things, this lady, she's not just the average lady out there. And she pointed out a lot of great information, in my opinion, and facts. And also the fact that now you see, after the information starts to go out, my little humble radio show and many other little radio shows. Now finally I call the hitman, because that's what they are. This is a big news outlet. They just control propaganda, like the New York Times. They needed to run out with some sort of propaganda piece. They were trying to discredit her. And in my opinion, they did a very poor job, because I read the article. They didn't mention anything about her lawsuit, about their harassment situation. I mean, they really just tried to make her look like a crazy lady, and also a serious background. But meanwhile, they post a link, for example, on my interview on YouTube, the interview that we had together with Mr. Stewart. And we got almost 20,000 listeners just out of that link. And the beautiful thing about the interview, it's like unedited, and the listeners or the readers, they have a chance to listen to the whole story, not just to what the New York Times decide to write or edit, you know. So that's the important thing. I think they're running scared. Don't you think that's pretty much a jerk reaction of what's happening right now?
Well, absolutely, I think they're scared. I think they're trying to do damage control, because I don't think they can hold this under wraps too much longer, because they're using this on too many people that are not paranoid schizophrenic. When you got a medical doctor like Dr. John Hall, Terry Anderson. Dr. John Hall's out of Texas. Terry Anderson, a medical doctor's out of Kansas. They've got a lawyer, a guy named Matt something out of L.A. We got a scientist, Robert Duncan, that went to Harvard, and he helped develop this. And then once he started speaking out against, they turned it on him. Mm. So these are not just paranoid. These are not just average people that are crazy. They're doing this. They do this, and then when you start getting the torture, which they do torture with this program, and that's to shut people up, so it scares the rest of them, so they're afraid to come out and say anything. I talked to a lawyer, and you know what he told me?
What?
He said, I know what's going on, but he said, I ain't going to speak about it because they'll turn it on me. Well, he ain't going to like what they turn on him at the end. When this is all over, when we all become totally slaves, he ain't going to like that results either. So, you know, more people better come out and start speaking about it.
Let me tell you,
there's a lot of people speaking about it, but we need a lot more to understand it. And the problem is, it's just like in Germany, you got the citizens that are going along with it because they think if they go along with it, that they won't get this. Well, they're going to use it on them too.
Exactly.
You know,
this is serious. I tell
go
you,
ahead, Luca.
You pretty much, you are the person that opened my eyes on this topic. Because as I said, you know, we all ignorant, some part of, I mean, we're never born with knowing everything. And our difference between being ignorant and being arrogant. Because, you know, an ignorant person, we can fix it. I always say that. You know, hey, bring you the evidence and facts, and they use your brain and come out with a conclusion. But when you're an arrogant, that you don't want to even, or maybe you're afraid to face the facts and the truth. Because, you know, many people, I think also they're afraid, not because just they're afraid of the consequences of being targeted individuals, but the point is because then they need to speak up. Because once you know that there is a crime happening against humanity or against your fellow Americans or anywhere in the world, and you don't do anything or you don't say anything, you are guilty for me as the perpetrators. So the problem many people have, in my opinion, is that they don't want to know about it, or they try to fight you as a messenger, because the moment that they admit it, that this is true, like 9/11, like many other things, they need to start to speak up. And not everybody has the balls to do that. Sometimes it's easier to hide behind the lies, you know, and the illusions. But regardless, we got to do what we got to do, and I want to thank you because this is a very important topic. This is probably when people start to realize that this is real, and there is the technology out there. And I'm not saying that everybody that claims to be a target individual, it's true. There are also people that need some medical help. I'm pretty aware of that, okay? But the point is there is also a lot of people that they're really facing the consequences of a very powerful technology in the hands of corrupted, unelected, evil people, that they are using it, testing it for evil purposes. And this has been declassified many times. All I had to do, people go check it out, MK Ultra, and there was even that scientifically advanced like we have now. And that's official, declassified documents from the CIA. So now...
Right, in 1975, Luca.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something closer to us that I really believe there is always a connection. Last week was this Orlando shooting in Florida. 50 men and women died. I don't know if they were women, but anyway, human beings. I don't care who they are. They are human beings got killed. Or at least we know, according to the news. Many other people got injured. Now, of course, the propaganda machine could even wait that the bodies that were still warm. They went immediately after the guns. That's their plan. It's been a plan since a long time. And for the liberals out there, or people that support Obama, whatever you want to call yourself, I call you fascist anyway. You're not liberals. You're just a bunch of control freaks. If you think that, the gun is the problem, you have a serious mental problem. Seriously, guys. Because we have to talk, first of all, really what happened here. But even if it was, of course, all this because of an evil guy doing an evil act, this is really, I'm tired of going back to this sort of a mob mentality, because just you think that 51% of you says that I have to give up my right, or we have to give up our rights, just because you think you got some sort of a majority. That's not the case. We are not a democracy. We are a republic. We have individual rights. I don't care how many petitions they're going to hit the White House. Now they say over 120,000 petitions want to ban assault weapon. First of all, it's so wrong about the idea of assault weapon, because this weapon doesn't assault anybody. It's a regular semi-automatic rifle. Don't get me going there. The point is, you don't have that type of authority. We have rights with or without your numbers. My point is, let's go into looking 1 second if there is something that stinks in this event at the Orlando shooting. And I want your opinion, Ken, because for what I look at this, there are a lot of signs that something doesn't add up. And first of all, number one, this guy used to work for G4S, that is a contracting company for Homeland Security. Something little strange there. That, of course, and this, by the way, this is not just a regular contractor company. This contractor company has a lot of connections for during the 9/11 and other important, let's say, projects during the last 10, 15 years at least with the U.S. government. And there is much more. But before I go into my points that I would like to bring out, I would like to ask to Ken, what do you think, Ken, about this guy? You think this is just some sort of a Muslim that went off, or maybe it was helped and aided by somebody else to create a crisis so they can give us the solution to the problem? What do you think, Ken?
Oh, absolutely. I think all these shootings are controlled. If you go back to Sandy Hook, honestly, in my own opinion, the way they're treating Mr. Howbig down there, and the guy's got all kinds of credibility, I don't think anybody died there. Now, in Florida, I do think people died there. I'm not going, but I still think it was a set-up and controlled killing. They stood down for 3 hours. Yet witnesses come down saying there's more than one shooter. But yet the news comes out and says one lone wolf shooter. The American-made terrorist, lone wolf. They got every name for it except what it really is. We want gun control. If you want to go back to Germany, when they took the guns over there, there's like 20 million people died. Then Stalin took them in Russia. You had like 40 million people died after they took the guns. Mm-hmm. China took the guns. Mao took them, and Mao, it's estimated 60 to 80 million people died. So I'm looking at this, and I said, how many people are going to die in America once they come and take our guns or we give them up? Like you said, I don't call them liberals. I call them control freaks.
Yes.
When they think they're going to get the gun, so then you can never fight your way back into society. Look at all the other countries. They're all telling us, you better not give up your guns. You better not. They've already gave theirs up. They know what comes next.
Yes.
So the Americans can all sign petitions and do what they want. But in a republic, every man's got his individual right. This is not a democracy. We were never meant to be a democracy.
Exactly.
Where 51% of the people can vote our rights away.
And that's the way they try to brainwash us. That's why you see the last at least 4 or 5 presidents. I mean, every time they open their mouth, we have to spread democracy. We are a democracy. Bush, Obama, doesn't matter. They all say the same garbage. And that's part of the indoctrination, brainwashing. But they say very serious stuff, what's happening here. There are so many elements. You were mentioning some. Stand down for 3 hours. If you really know that something's happening and people getting slaughtered in that club, how can you tell me that any policeman or, let's say, rescue personnel, they're waiting? And who's giving these orders to stand down? I mean, that's really unbelievable. And that cannot even be excused as negligence. That's way above. Now, then you got another point. They were on some clips of local media, witnesses, eyewitnesses, that they were talking about, yes, we noticed that there were just more than one shooter. And now nobody wants to talk about that anymore. Nobody's allowed to talk about this anymore. And then you go even deeper. You start to realize that, my gosh, this guy, the door couldn't open. They were locked. Think about that. And then, of course, as usually, the perpetrator, the evil lone wolf, always dies. Or he always got killed, one or the other one, like happened with Jeff Kennedy. And now we know very well that declassified documents, they also show, grassy knoll, that the patsy that they shot, or at least, it was shot, the shooter against Kennedy, he was just a patsy. This is it was a CIA operation at least. And now, of course, ISIS, that's the magic word. Before was Al-Qaeda. That was, of course, we know very well, created in the 70s, by the administration under the Carter administration. And now we have ISIS, the same ISIS that we know that the Department of State under Hillary Clinton, and, of course, under Obama, documents from the Pentagon proving that we've been finding. Not me and you, but unfortunately our tax dollar. So this is so out of the book. And the drill. 3 months ago, 3 months before this event in Orlando, there were drills for staging different acts of terrorism. That's another interesting thing. But the most important thing now, what do they want? They don't want just a regular gun control. That would be bad enough. Or assault weapon ban. They want to completely remove the due process. Anybody who is on their watch list, that could be me and you, Ken, you know that, just because they don't like our thought, our opinions, or whatever, or even by accident. Maybe just a bureaucrat doesn't know what he's doing, put my name or your name. Guess what? Without due process, any type of trial, any type of court of law, and not even a chance to face my accuser, we have no more Second Amendment right. We are not allowed anymore to even own or purchase a gun. That's the scary thing. Seriously. What do you think about that?
I think if they say, well, if you're on a no-fly list, you shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. Well, there's people that's on the don't-fly list that don't even know they're on it. They show up at the airport and they can't get on an airplane because they're on a don't-fly list. So all of a sudden they can put anybody they want to. And some people, they're not worried about it, Luke, because they know what Americans are doing. They know which ones are standing up and they know which ones are not.
Yeah.
So if you're standing up against this government, you're going to be on that no-fly list so they can take your guns away from you. The ones the liberals that don't care, they're never going to get on that don't-fly list because the only people who've got guns around them is their bodyguards, and they're perfectly fine. They don't know nobody killing them, but me or you can't have a gun to protect our life and our family and our kids and grandkids. But Obama's got plenty around him. Hillary Clinton's got plenty around her. They've all got armed. They're armed to the tooth. They're heavily armed. So they think they need to be protected, but we don't need protection.
This is the hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy that they have. And also, this is their plan. I really believe this is just the beginning. We're going to have a long summer, and I hope to be wrong, Ken, but I really believe that what's happening now in Orlando was almost like a small-scale dry run, because you see what happened in Orlando. The mayor of the city of Orlando already declaring, let's say, state of emergency, and there was just one alleged shooter, okay? Imagine if there were 3 or 4 at the same time in 4 different locations. And don't get me wrong, I know very well this is being all orchestrated, at least directed, because the FBI was monitoring this person, for at least a couple of years, and they didn't do anything. And there is much more, of course, that we don't really know. But the sad thing is, now we have probably another couple 100,000 of people with no any type of real background check, not being vetted, They come from Middle Eastern countries. And besides the problem that, it's going to be a very unfair process, I believe, to all the other immigrants who came through due process and waited for years. Like myself, I feel very irate about this different type of treatment, but that's another story. Now, what I really believe, this is an invasion, because among these 200,000 people, whatever numbers they are bringing in, by stealth, even if it's just 3% of them, they are part of this group trained previously in the Middle Eastern by organization like ISIS or anything that not me and you, but as I said, unfortunately, this administration has been funding and training. This is their secret clone armies. Like during Star Wars, they needed the clones, they needed the zombies to start to activate martial law. And all they need to have like a couple thousands of these sappers, of these, let's say, people that could be also manipulated with their mind. And that's back to also mind control, because you don't just train them with the rifle, you also control their training with their mind. They follow the orders. And they can start to put in their mind visions of Allah, of the virgins, whatever they want. And boom. Think about now if you have 50 of these Orlando situations in the same week, all over the 50 states. That would be enough for any petty tyrant like Obama and Congress going along to have a justification to act like tyrant that they are. So that's really what I'm expecting here. What do you think? Am I too far away, or maybe I'm on to something?
No, you're like hitting the nail right on the head. Because I heard a senator speaking this morning, and he said, "Forget due process; it's killing us." In other words, we don't worry about the citizens' due process; just take their guns away, because due process is killing us. Well, there's good and bad in every law that's on the book. There's good and bad probably in the Constitution, but you got to follow the law of the land, not the law that they make for us. Where they take the law, there is no law for them up on the top. There's no law for them. They follow no law. They can steal, lie, cheat, and everything. But if we do the same thing, we go to prison for life, or they even give you the death penalty.
Yes.
So our republic is upside down. Everybody should be flying the flags upside down as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. This is time to really show people. When people say, "Oh, you flying the flag upside down is disrespect." No, guys, learn the signs and also the codes of our flag. And I've been flying, by the way, my flag upside down for a while, and I think I need to start to fly it again. And sometimes some idiots always come around and say, "Why are you doing that?" Or even trying to make me look like I'm such a bad person. Normally, I don't even give explanation. I'm on my property. You just screw off and don't even want to talk to you. But sometimes I try to educate people. And this is exactly why the flag upside down is important. It's a sign of distress. We are under attack. The enemy is already within the walls. The enemy doesn't come from some foreign country. He's already here in Washington, sitting at the White House, surrounded by a pack of traitors as these, bureaucrats, all working for the New World Order, for the Council of Foreign Relations, and of course Congress is being paid off, sold out, or blackmailed, doesn't matter. They're still following the orders. And we're here, left with each other. That's all we have. American people, all we can do.
Well, Luca, how do we know what's coming across the border in Mexico? I went down there, it's been about 2 years now, and we did a documentary on it. And the militia actually took us down right to the Rio Grande, and we watched 40 people at a time coming across.
Yeah.
And we talked to Border Patrol, and you know what they told us? We're glad y'all are down here documenting this, because we're told from high up we can't arrest them, we can't send them back, we can't even detain them.
Exactly.
So I asked the Border Patrol. He wouldn't let us put him on camera because he's afraid he's going to lose his job. I said, so what are y'all doing? Why are you even down here? He said, that's a good question.
Exactly. And this is part of the invasion, and I agree with you. I was on the borders. I remember the first time. I was even an American yet. It was the 1st of April 2005 when the Minuteman Project started it. And I realized that day that America was living in illusion, that our borders, and there was even Obama, that we were under Bush at the time. The borders, they are the most porous, intentionally left open borders for many reasons. And it's not just because that the drug cartels can do great business in this way, but also because they need to completely destroy the borders, our sovereignty, and let anybody they want. It's like an army. After 10 years, 15 years, that we have no idea how many invaders. They weren't just here to collect Social Security or to get the job, as they say, America won't do. And by the way, that's BS. I think an American person, if you pay correctly, is going to do every job, especially if you remove the welfare. But the point is that we don't know really how many army of trained men could be already here, ready to be activated anytime. And that's part of the plan. We have a traitor sitting in the White House, and I'm responsible for this war, myself, luca-zanna, nobody else. And the traitor is a Kenyan called Barack Hussein Obama. Barry Soetoro, whatever you want to call him, is a puppet of the New World Order, like Bush was a puppet, and like the guy before was a puppet. That's a fact. This is not about Republican bashing Democrat. I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. This is about understanding that we've been screwed from both sides. Am I
right. Well, look, Democrat and Republican, it's one party.
Yes.
And we're not invited to the party.
No.
There is no difference. There is no difference between a Democrat and Republican. They're all about one thing, the New World Order, and they're going to sell their country out. And I guess they don't care what they do to their kids and grandkids because they're not going to be here. Well, I'm 72, and I ain't going to be here either probably, but I care what they do with my great-grandkids and my grandkids and anybody else listening. I care what they do to their kids.
Yes. No, this is very serious. It's serious. It's happening in front of our eyes. It's like almost living a horror movie, but unfortunately it's real. And I tell you, we also have a great opportunity. I consider this like a great honor to at least do our part. And that's why we're here. That's why I want you on the show, Ken, because I appreciate it. You know, as I said, this show is trying to learn from each other. And a lot of things, you know, I've been learning through the show myself. And you bring up facts that I wasn't aware about these target individuals, about this technology that has been around for a while, and also their goal. This is not just to play around to torturing people. I mean, of course, there are also sadists out there. Evil people like to see you in pain. But the problem is this is almost like a small-scale test on how to enslave humanity. I mean, I already had on the past NSA whistleblower Karen Stewart. I had today also the other lady, Patty. You know, and I tell you, this is just the beginning. And I tell you something, Ken. I told you off the record, and I don't mind to tell you also here. I noticed that something happened after I did the interview with Mr. Stewart. At the beginning, I thought it was just sort of conditioning, maybe me being too much involved into this. But I start to realize there is much more, and I don't want to go more on that than that right now. But I tell you something, regardless, I commit myself to been talking about this till I have voice in my lungs. That's all I can tell you.
Well, Luca, I'm like you. I'm going to talk about this till there ain't no air left in my lungs either, because this is so evil. And they do plan on turning it on to the whole population before this is over. So all these people that's helping them do it, they better get ready for a life of hell, because when this gets turned on to everybody, then we're total slaves. I mean, then we got no say whatsoever. And if you don't like it, they'll just kill you. We're going. I feel like, in my opinion, we're going the same way that Germany went.
Yes, and they create the same type of crisis to justify, like the burning of the Reichstag, you know. And now we have a different type of Reichstag. 9/11 was the Reichstag, and there is much more, because we need to also give up our guns. Listen, I want to let you go, but before I go, I want to give you the floor. Whatever you want to touch or talk, and we couldn't touch, you got the floor. I give you 3 minutes. Whatever you want to say.
You know, Luca, I got to cover everything I want to, you know, because my main goal is, and you know from way back when I met you at Bundy Ranch, has been about the target individuals. Because I had a woman call me yesterday, and she owns a trucking company. Her husband, I think, passed away. She's been targeting. She's just now figuring it out. And she called me and asked me, she's got 4 trucks on the road, over the road. And she said, they've got all 4 trucks of hers in one day. One of them didn't have the DOD number on it. She said it was on there, but somebody took it off. The next one, one of the drivers, he didn't renew his license. So they made him go on the computer, and they held him there for like 4 hours till he redone it. He said he told her definitely he had his license. He'd already done it. But all 4 trucks, they shut him down for 4 hours. And she said, Kenny, what that does to me, now I get so many strikes on my license, and I can't carry the well-paying, the freight. I don't get the big-paying freight jobs. I have to take the smaller jobs. So that's how they bankrupt people, Luca, and they're trying to bring you under control because they know if you got no money, you can't fight them.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. They want to destroy us everywhere.
Go ahead, Luca.
No, I say you're right. They want to destroy us, first of all, economically, so they can also control us. We cannot even have the money anymore to go to protest our congressman office for the gas money, you know. That's the way they're going to submit us. I agree.
All right, Luca. Well, I thank you for having me on today, and I appreciate talking to you. And I know I don't have to tell you to stay active and keep doing what you're doing.
Will do, and our help, and thank you for your help. And I invite any listeners out there who has information. This show is not just me talking about things. This show about trying to find out vital information with your help that we can share through this media. Okay, that's the bottom line. And I want to say thank you, Ken, because this is exactly how this show grows. This show, how we get more information out and we learn from each other. And I also want to say, guys, this type of radio show is not exactly commercial friendly, because I tell you, sometimes, I may say things that they're kind of normal. I mean, normal. That means, you can find some sort of agreement. But many topics that we treat on this show, no other radio station will even touch them. Okay? And I'm proud of this, because this is exactly means freedom of speech. And I want to thank, of course, the station, KTOX, and any other station who picks the signal. And, of course, on the Internet, we can say still pretty much whatever we want. By the end of the day, I'm not looking around for sponsors unless the sponsor come to me, because I want to be sure that whenever I say something, we have no control. We can say whatever we want. We do not want to be conditioned for what we can say or not. But I need your help. And the best way you can help this show is very simple. All you need is just 99 cents. You can go to zanna.us, www.zanna.us, and download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Doing so, you allow the show to be free, and we can talk about topics that no other station, no other radio program can talk about it. And, of course, if you like coffee, go to zannacoffee.com. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. My best to you and your lady, okay?
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you. All right, guys, don't go away. A little bit of a break, a little song, and then I have a little bit of extra news to talk about it. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Don't go away. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee. Okay, guys, this is the final part of the final hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. It's been a very, let's say, disturbing week. Not because of things that we don't know, because unfortunately we know, and that's the problem. We know that all these things, they were going to happen, and they're happening. The fact that the government, or whatever is supposed to be now, this government, is using crisis that could be created or could be just manipulated. That's not even the main point right now. But they're using them for an agenda. And the agenda is to enslave Americans. Because this is the last country. Let me tell you again, this is the last country left in this world where law-abiding Americans have the right to defend themselves, defend their lives, and defend their freedom against evil. I've been around the world, I told you, and I come from Italy. There is not a Second Amendment in Italy, in Europe, not even in Switzerland, that of course is better off than many other countries out there. There is not, of course, even a Bill of Rights if you think about it. You don't even have freedom of speech. So we are here as Americans, the last obstacle against the New World Order. They need to destroy us. They need to destroy our rights. And how they do that? To put us in submission. First of all, they need to divide us, separate us against each other. That's number 101. You know? Divide and conquer. Out of the book of Julius Caesar, the Bello Gallico. Then when they put us against each other, they try to put us straight against gay, and then, Christian against Buddhist, or whatever. They try to use everything they can. The 1%, the 99%, we are all 99%, because these people behind the scene, they are the real rich people. They are the 0.001%. Okay? They try to steal from each other, make you steal from each other and convince you that this is the right thing to do. No, we got to unite. We got to respect each other. We got to understand that we are all in perils. We are all in danger. That's why I'm excited when I see, for example, the guest that I had today during the second hour from the Pink Pistol. It's a gay group. It's a lesbian group. It's their business, what they do in their private life. We are not here to judge others. Okay? After all, who can judge us? Only God. That's what I believe. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But the point is, we are not here to judge others on their personal life. The only condition I always say, you want to be sure that their personal life do not infringe on other people's rights. And I don't care if you're straight or upside down. There are also straight people that they can pretty much be sometimes doing things that they are not exactly kosher, they're not exactly good in front of others. So that's the point. If you can respect others and there is no coercion, you should be able to do whatever you want. This is supposed to be America. Now, unfortunately, we've been invaded by design, by evil forces that they have the goal not just to disarm us, but also to completely treading our freedoms. I don't believe the terrorists came here because they want to come to America. No, we've been pretty much inviting them. And I say this black and white, and I'm the responsible, nobody else. I really deeply believe that the Obama administration, of course, Obama is just a puppet. He's following the orders like Bush was following the orders from the globalists. But in this case, Obama is under his watch. He's letting intentionally thousands and thousands and thousands of potential terrorists under this excuse of this refugees program. They are here. We have a complete army of potential terrorists ready to be unleashed. And at the same time, this bastard want to disarm us. Doesn't tell you anything. Now, the fact that this situation, for example, like at the Orlando shooting, we don't know all the facts, but the fact is people died, at least what we can see. Now, there are also theories that maybe people didn't die. I don't know. I need to see the evidence for that. All I know that people die, but the point is could be prevented. And the fact is that we have also a problem. The people that they are using, instrumentalizing to create this chaos, to create this crisis and distraction, they will give the excuse to the government for martial law. Their threat is real. Because you may believe it or not, but they really believe that in their book, if you are gay, you must be killed, even out of compassion. And I didn't say that. Okay? This is serious. So, what can I say, guys? We are really facing almost, in my opinion, the beginning of the end. Because right now it's going to be June, the end of June, exactly June the 19th. But in a few weeks from now, we have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen. Okay? Because think about it now, if you have 50 or 60 shootings like Orlando at the same time, we're talking about a potential, with the last few years, we have no idea how many thousands of these terrorists were allowed, and I say again, were allowed by the Obama administration to come here. Probably we also pay them the ticket and the transportation. We have declassified documents. UPS and other contractors, they've been driving refugees under the radar and spreading them around U.S. cities. At the same time, we have the Obama administration firing thousands of our soldiers for lack of budget. But meanwhile, he's hiring, he's putting under contract new soldiers that mostly are illegal aliens, ready to serve in our army or any other branch of the armed force. Did you ever watch the movie Star Wars, The Last Days of the Republic? When the evil Palpatine, or whatever it's called, he starts to commission that army of clones. And then they kill all the Jedis. We're pretty much at this point. Try to neutralize our soldiers or send them away overseas in these endless conflicts. There are no even wars. Or just fire them. And then make them, as veterans, treat them like garbage. Deny them the basic rights that they deserve and services that they earn, their benefits. But they want to give them to illegal aliens. They're going to give them to refugees. They're going to give them, of course, to the new recruits. They're going to be mostly now, they're going to get illegal aliens. So this is the point, guys. We are really at the end. Now, I want to tell you something. This is the hour about love, you know. I brought you a person that I'm trying to, you know, make you think. To have a weapon, it is not an act of violence. It's an act of love. Because you're ready to sacrifice yourself. You're ready to stand against evil. And you have an extra tool. At the end of the day, if you want to stand against evil, you can do even with, you know, bare hands. But the point is, the weapon is the great equalizer. And I give you an example. There was this 911 call from this alligator attack, you know, like in Florida. You heard that. Of course, there was a Disney facility. The poor family had no chance to fight the alligator, of course. And many other situations happened. Like, for example, there was another case. A mom, just in Colorado, just a few days ago, a mother saves her son from a mountain lion. You know how she did that? With empty hands. And then the father, meanwhile, was calling 911. You're in the middle of out there, that, by the way, that happened outside their house, or you live a little bit out of town in the hills or in the mountains. So and this poor boy was screaming and yelling and was mauled. Think about it. And the mom, she went there as an act of love with her empty hands. Meanwhile, the father was begging for 911 to come there as fast as they could. I say, you know what? Guys, think about if that mother or that father had at least a handgun ready to go on their person, like you should have, like every free human being should have. Instead of just fighting that mountain lion just because begging for a miracle, that just because you punch him, he may flight. I'm amazed that he didn't fight back. He didn't also eat the mother. But think about if the mother had a gun in the house. Guns are not evil. Guns are just the tools. As I said, the gun is an extension of your soul. If your soul is bad, yes, the gun can be bad. But if your soul is a good soul, and you want to defend good, you want to defend life, you want to defend the innocent, the gun is the great equalizer. The little, probably not exactly an athletic person, a mother, a woman, maybe 100 pounds, 120 pounds, doesn't matter, against a mountain lion, that was a great act of love she did with empty hands, but she had a gun with some training. I don't care which caliber. You know what? The mountain lion is going to start to feel it better than a punch. Okay? That's the point. So please, let's unite as Americans. Let's realize that there's something very bad is brewing. They're coming after us. And please, if you want to support the show, there are many ways you can do it. I told you. Go to zanna.us, download any of my songs, and there is the rifle. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna for just $499. Military grade AR-15. Unbelievable. I'm not even increasing the prices, and I could. And of course, they're trying to increase prices on me. I'll try to keep them to $499 till I can. freedomrifle.com. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. God's willing, I will talk to you next Sunday. You'll be listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. And please, don't forget that the show is also on www.lovegunsfreedom.com.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid,
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid,
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid,
American by choice. Luca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD.